Find something on the other one for the change. See if there's a logic to it. There's a checkpoint you can go back to. It was after like each part. What you were able to do was instead of like letting it finish, you could just close the app and then just abandon the fight and it wouldn't absorb. Yeah, that's something you can do. I remember that at least. Also have to look at the bonus damage value. If I can find that. That'd be interesting. Yeah. I want to say it was story bus. The later parts, you're not having that anymore. But again, I have to look at it. Okay. Have fun.
Hello. How's it going, guys? I Avalon voice? You can't hear Avalon's voice. You're not allowed to. I'm running a little bit behind here, chat. We were talking about an upcoming project. We are the one, go ahead. A second, I'm attempting to find yesterday's sauce, which I cannot for some reason. So we're going to cheat. All right, the tweet is live. Do me the favor, go give it some love as usual, chat. I hope everyone's doing good today. We are still on that grind set. Today is the last day of the NA Lotto, so if you guys haven't already, make sure that you actually go and finish that event. Don't forget the extra Santa Carna copies, as I almost did last night. Oh, I did forget that. One last step. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing good today. Here is today's artwork. Go give the artist some love. Again, I hope everyone's doing good today. My bot is still logging in. I don't know why. There we go. Now it's up. Okay. Incoming Korean Light banner tonight. This is an easy pass because I already got her with the back to school banner, but good luck to anyone else who's rolling for tonight. Yeah. I mean, again, Korean of Light's definitely a good unit. You can get extra NP levels of her if you so choose. In fact, there are times where having extra NP level of her can be good, but it's certainly not a requirement. Hello, Shortcake. And hello, everybody else. Thank you to everybody that's early to stream today, since I'm not. To get that chicken, yes. Almost forgot to do the CQ, so took care of that easy. Yup. Yeah, we had to do that yesterday. Today we might do the JP CQ, just depending on time. I got a couple things that we want to get done, especially, like I said, I want to do the Abby review. I have switched to doing the 90++ again. I'm doing it with Artoria since I did, what I did is I basically just went in and level 100'd the CE, and that has been beneficial to me. So, I've been able to get some decent farm done. Is it possible to have 2,000 boxes right now? No, probably not without botting. Yeah, like just being real with you, right? Like, because again, you could definitely be more efficient than I am, right? But one, I've been exceedingly lucky with drops, so I got to max bonus very fast, and two, I did farm pretty much the entire weekend. So like, you would have literally had to have been farming while I was asleep, and every waking moment that I didn't farm. Yeah, like it's just. Again, I don't know if you're asking because somebody is like claiming that they have that, but look, chat, at the end of the day, I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it again. I feel like I do this every lotto, but people want to EP over box counts. Let them. I don't care. Like, do the box amount that's good for you. And also, as we've mentioned before, like, some people out there want to flex. Again, like their box count because they're botting. Like that's the entire reason why they're flexing it. I'm not saying everyone out there is a botter. Not everyone is, okay? But there are people out there that I know for a fact do bot and then try to hide it. Like they like, oh no, I'm not botting. I did this legit. Yeah, okay. So it is what it is. In the meantime, I am close to 400 boxes. We are getting there. In fact, why don't we knock that out right here before I do anything else? Force myself to 400. I'm at like 700 boxes right now, and I thought that was a lot. 700 is definitely a lot. But Cad, you understand? Player played Lotto for 96 consecutive hours. I just don't believe it. They're welcome to call me a hater. They're welcome to say like I just don't get it. I don't understand their sacrifice, yada yada yada. Chad, I've been around from the early days of FGO. I've seen the limitations of like human capability from what some insane people did back then. I just don't believe people like that. You're so keen for LB7? Yeah. Sorry, Chad, I was holding Cat off. Avalon was holding me off, but because I asked Avalon to. I pulled you out from under the bus and I put myself there. Okay. Brandon, thank you for the 61. Hope you're doing good and the JP Lotto grind is going well. It is. Shadow, thank you for the 63 as well. Merlin, thank you for the 3. And Deontay, thank you for the 56 before stream. Paid Avalon off so he can be late. That would assume that I pay Avalon, and I do not. How's everyone tonight? I'm doing okay. Hope everyone else is. At some point you have to work or sleep or take a break. Again, chat, some people, I feel like the incentive to cheat and to try and flex is too great, right? So when you're telling me you've done an exorbitant number of boxes, like, I'm gonna be real with you. If someone walked up to me right now and said they had 1,000, like, even Lucario's number of 700 is high. Lucario's number is doable. 1,000 right now is very difficult to do and have any semblance of a life. Like, at all. So, like, I immediately begin to doubt. Immediately. It doesn't mean that the person's incapable. I just don't really care. And I start to ask myself, why is the person flexing? Like what's their end goal with that, right? Oh, I know a person? I'm sure you do. He didn't sleep. That's fine. I don't care. and hear me out as to why. There's a point at which you begin to degrade. You are not as sharp. You are not as fast. You start fucking up. You start making mistakes. It starts costing you. So if you're telling me that they're like, they never varied, that they were always like perfect and that they kept going at like the same speed the entire time, no, bullshit. As somebody that has done 24-hour streams, I'm well aware. After a certain point, you begin to fuck up. Honestly, 300 plus for 2 full weeks is hard enough. I tend to burn out around 100. Yeah, I mean, like, chat, I sat down, I farmed pretty much the entire time for the weekend. I did, what was it, like 235 boxes over the weekend? That was Saturday and Sunday, right? Is it possible to have done more than me? Yes. How much more? Now consider, chat, the fact that we did have almost 24 hours of downtime already in this lotto. So, hence my my issue with some of those numbers, right? Day 3 to 4 of being awake in a row is when it starts hurting. No, chat, I'm going to tell you, if you've ever stayed up for 24 hours, you know, after about like the 18-hour mark, you start to get really tired. It's not like unsustainable. It's just the point at which, when you're not used to doing that constantly, you begin to have mental degradation, right? At 2 days, I guarantee you go through periods of like hitting like second wins and stuff like that. But the amount of time in which you're good and mentally sustainable in the second day is going way downhill very rapidly. So like, I'm going to tell you, like, regardless of pain and suffering, you're going to see people that are going to start having blurry vision. They're going to start pressing the wrong buttons. And that's going to occur on day 1. That's not even wait till day 2, right? So when you start hearing people that are like, oh yeah, but like, no, I kept powering through it. Sure, you botted. That's what I hear when I hear that stuff. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you did. You totally didn't just sleep next to the computer. Like, yeah, no, oh yeah, no, you totally didn't turn on that automator. No. Like I said, chat, the fact that these programs exist and are out there, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me. I just don't believe you. Like when somebody starts doing that high of boxes, they usually have a reason to, and therefore they have all the reason that they need to actually cheat at the game at that point. Like, again, I got no problem with someone botting. I have issue with the people that try to flex it on other people. They're like, oh man, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna try to claim like I've done this legit when we all know you didn't. We all know that you cheated. And they'll insist otherwise, but it's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I kept powering through it. I kept the power on through it. Exactly. 18-hour mark sounds about right. Yep. There's a point where you have too many apples, you can't burn them all during a lotto. I went into this lotto with over 900 apples between gold and silver and blue, and I still haven't finished silver. I'm doing better than you then. I just started using my silver apples today, chat. I haven't even been using them that long. So it is what it is. But no, that's, again, I don't know. It's a stupid subject to me. I don't understand why everybody goes like crazy over it. And at the end of the day, it's a lot easier for me to just sit there and be a skeptic, because the majority of people that are trying to like do that sort of stuff, like I said, they have every incentive not to. And at the end of the day, it's just, who cares, right? Like as long as you do individually the box count, that's good for you. What do you care what someone else does? Which is also why I look at that and I just go like, if someone tells me like, oh, Cat, I already did 1,000 boxes, I'm like, cool, I don't care. Why? Because I'm only focused on my goal. Like, you can call that selfish. You could say that that's like me not giving a shit about other people, but it's like, I've just learned, especially in like the greater FGO community, like not to pay attention to other people's like flexes, right? It's just flexing. It's not really important at all. Yeah. Like I said, like, whale tails are a thing, especially in gacha games. You see people all the time that try to like, oh, I always have the bigger fish type deal. So it's why, like I said, I've learned not to pay attention to it. Okay, that was a mess up. I should not have popped that there. Let's do that. This is the first time I've ever carded this wave, but I absolutely can. It's like, oh, I got 2 Artoria cards. May as well abuse it. Yeah, that's a good call. Save of privileges? Yeah, I don't know if this will kill, actually, because the problem is I don't have her mana burst here. So I'm losing quite a bit of modifiers. Yeah, that didn't kill, so I'm going to have to rely on the Buster crit here. Which it should. Oh, there we go. Yeah, what I could have done is I could have gone ahead and popped one of the Korean Sky charge skills and rotated for Oberon and bring in his at least NP damage skill, but at least I probably would have done that, but at least having the Buster card there, I knew it was going to kill anyways. Why would you brag about not putting in the work yourself? It's always more impressive when someone says they did 500 than the dude over there saying they did over 100k, or sorry, over 1k. I think if you legitimately did 1k, that's something that's like really awesome. However, and this is the big thing I'm going to say, like, chat, if you're a free-to-play player and you did 500, what's the accomplishment there? If you did 500 as a free-to-play, the accomplishment is that you were free-to-play, not that you did 500 necessarily. Because at 500 boxes, the free-to-play probably can't use all of the materials. So this is actually like probably not something the free-to-play should do. So it's like it's a testament to the fact that they were able to do it, but then you wonder why they did it. At 1,000 boxes, chat, I'm about to say some controversial shit right here. At 1,000 boxes, if you are a whale, we are still in that same boat of why did you do that? Can anyone give me an actual good reason right now for why you would do 1,000 boxes? Don't worry, I'll wait. No good reason. Yeah, I'm. So there's a reason why I'm saying this, right? Not even free to play, like even as a whale. If you need 3,000 bones on a bone lotto, why do you need 3,000 bones? Chat, here's what I'm going to tell. I can fight you on any reason. Because the reality is, you're doing 1,000 boxes because you want to. Because that sounds like a cool number. Not because you're actually getting any real benefit out of it. And I'm dead serious. Yeah. Future proofing is usually the one that I see people try to throw out. This is technically a lie. And you want to know why? Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're future proofing. But let's think about two things here. One, do you plan to max every unit in the game? Two, when do you need it by? And three, why not wait for the future? When there will be another bone lotto. This is the issue with it, right? Like, yes, future proofing is a thing. However, there is no reason you need to get it all done right now. There's zero reason. In fact, I'm going to go even further. You can't get it all done right now. You cannot. You will not be able to use all the resources right this second. Because let's say you future-proof yourself on bones. Okay? Are you future-proofed on every other material that would allow you to be able to use those bones? Odds are the answer to that is no. No matter the status of your account. So again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Usually when I see people doing like north of 500 boxes, they need to have a really good reason for it. It's not like they like I'm not their keeper, right? They can do it if they want to, but odds are it becomes EPing at that point. Like quite literally, because I'm telling you guys right now, even at 500, there's some waste with what I do, and I have like 95% of the units in the game. So that should tell you, even if I had 100% of the units in the game, that number would not wiggle very much, right? So you're saying I don't need 800 Dragon Reverse Scales right now? Correct. 100%. And would you like another reason as to why? What are you running with Ordeal Call right now? With your Storm Pods? The Moon Node? Why you need so many moons? I'm telling you guys, I have a counter for every single reason you guys can throw out. And the reason why is because I've thought about all this myself over and over and over and over and over again. I've asked myself, what's the best path? What's the best strategy, right? The QP node? Oh, so that's an interesting one. So, because then you're at least in a circular logic there of like, well, you don't need to farm the QP node as much with your storm pods if you just farm the Lotto more. Or you could just farm QP in the storm pod nodes and not need as much QP from the Lotto. So, what if I'm insane? That's fine. Like I said, I can't tell you not to do it. I can give you a reason for why you shouldn't in every single one of those scenarios. All right, I already used all of that, so let's rotate. Sorry, I was getting a little bit lost in the sauce there. That's my logic for QP? Yeah. All right, that might kill. That also might not. Oh, we did get the crit. Sweet. EXP QP apples. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So, experience is a net loss because you could be farming the 5-star node. QP is a net loss because you could be farming either Treasury Vault or Storm Pod. And what was the last one? Apples? Oh, apples are just absolutely a net loss. Why? Why are they a net loss? Because you get like 3 bronze apples per. So quite literally, for each box, you are getting like 30 AP at the cost of like 120 AP. So you're spending net 90 down. Now, the logic here would go, this is technically a refund on this. So instead, it's more like you are spending 90 AP to get all the resources, the QP, the embers, and the apples, but yeah. Right? Like, don't get me wrong. Where the Lotto has value is when you need multiple things from the boxes. But like, for instance, I've seen people before say, I'm farming the boxes to 120 a unit. Fuck no, you're not. That's terrible efficiency. Don't do that. Absolutely do not do that. You're getting only 4-star embers from that. Oh my god, that's bad. Like, go farm the 5-star embers. They're way more efficient. Way more efficient. Bond for the Saint Courts. Bonding for Saint Courts. You can do that. Is it efficient? No, not in the slightest. Okay, that's really gonna hate me for this. If you were just farming exclusively for Bond and no other reason, you're doing it wrong. Bond is not the end game, contrary to what people think it is. And you will never be able to bond farm enough to offset like gacha revenue enough, right? Like you're either going to still be a whale or you're going to be free to play, and it's like, well, it's getting you more, but are you actually getting appreciably more than the guy that's not bond farming? Maybe over years and years and years you might finally be able to notice a difference, but you're not getting appreciably more than the guy that's just running any other node. Lottos cost twice the AP of free quests. Come on. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I farm Lotto mainly for MP and FP. Mats and QP is an added bonus. Right. Yeah. So it's like, usually you want to get it for things that you can't get anywhere else. Like, for instance, the actual best source of FP in the game is technically Lottos. There's an argument to be said about like, oh, well, it's actually getting it from friends. This is untrue. And most of the people that post high friend point numbers are usually, guess what, chat? Botting. I'm not even kidding. A lot of how some people do it is they'll have an alt account and they will make the alt account keep using their main. And that's how they sit there and they post these ridiculous FP numbers. So they're actually like fooling everyone when they do that. Because I've seen people take pictures of like, hey, today I logged in and I got 50,000 bond points. And it's like, yeah, that wasn't from legitimate usage. That was all from like having their alt continuously use their main. I'm not even kidding. Storm pods from 90 star bond rates are worth it though, especially with teapots. Yeah, but those are limited. So like, regardless of that, that's not quote unquote bond farming to me, right? Like, bond farming is when you go, all right, what am I going to do with my AP for the day? I am just going to go farm bond. Like, I'm not farming ascension mats. I'm not accomplishing any other goal. I am literally just going to this one node that I think gives me the best bond. Maybe you do get ascension mats out of it, but it's probably not as good as going to the node that gives you the ascension mats that you need and still gaining bond. And then people wonder why like my account is in such good shape compared to like other people. And for instance, chat, like, again, I'm going to say this, I'm more bond efficient than most other people. This is actually like the least bond efficient I've been in this Lotto because this is a bond 15 unit right here. She's also the only one in the party that's bond 15. Technically, my mash, I think, is still on the back line, too. Grinding out Oxford for 12 hours is peak, right? Yeah. What do you mean my 70,000 FP from my new account running through Fuyuki through LB4 is illegitimate? Yes. What even should a person realistically expect for actual FP in a day? Honestly, a good day for most people is going to be like 2,000 FP. And the reality is going to be your numbers are instead going to be something like, I don't know, like 200. It just all depends on how much like people are using you. I've logged into 10K. Yeah, I've definitely had like numbers that are over that were an anomaly, right? But they are the anomaly. Do you still need to backline mash or can you insert any 1-star in there? I'd have to check, right? Like I actually don't know off the top of my head right now. It's been such a hot second since I've actually looked at this comp. Be my friend. But we'll look here in a second because I gotta check to make sure that I'm at 240. I'll literally get 60,000 manually with my alt just to say you're wrong, Cad. Not really, but I kind of want to try. I mean, you could. Go for it. Do keep in mind how little you actually get per run. Like, the only way you would be getting that is if you kept, like, so, chat, it's not just that you keep taking the main. It's that at any point, so not only are you refilling, okay, but at any point that the main does not show up for you, you then refresh until you see the main again. I forgot the F. There we go. So, like, I'm not even kidding you. And, like, how a lot of these people do it is they basically go like, oh, okay, this is my alt. I'm just going to make sure that there's, like, nobody on my alt's friends list. And even then, it's not guaranteed. Even if you only have, like, 5 people on your friends list, it's not guaranteed those 5 people show up. They could easily just not show up and you just keep getting randoms. Geo Highs, thank you for the follow. What's up, Alba? How's it going? Can you just not keep your alt and main logged in so you always have your main show up? You can. Keep in mind, you are coordinating that. Like, would you call that legit game? When you were, like, spam refreshing for the purposes of just driving that number higher? I wouldn't. Like, and I'm going to be real with y'all. So, chat, I have a confession to make. I know during a Lotto, some of you guys log in over and over again. That's fine. I don't have an issue with it. However, there are a couple of people that always appear at the top of my list. If I start to notice this, I start to purposely either resort the list in a way that they do not show up at the top, or I just purposely scroll right by them and pick the next person. Like, I actually divide up. I'm a good person like that. I will not just keep giving it to the top person that's constantly degen refreshing. Because I just go like, that's kind of annoying. Stop that. Like, I do think there's something to be said about like, hey, I'm re-upping for my friends that need it. And another thing where it's like, no, like between every node I relog. I'm like, okay. Just give Avalon 200k. Yes. Oh, wow. Wow. I pulled out right at the exact moment. Pull out game strong, chat. Cad, you will never not choose my level 120 Castoria. What about? Because your level 120 Castoria doesn't show up that often. Like the level 92 support casters, yes, that is where that logic comes from. I got so sick and tired of dealing with those people. That's what I do. I relog for friends. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I don't have an issue with people relogging. I have an issue when people like make it their mission to get the most FP possible by chain relogging. You can tell the difference because there's people that frequently appear at the top, and there's people that it's like, if I were to like go to a node, like 80% of the time they are at the top, and the other 20% is they either finally went to bed or like literally the game decided, no, I'm not giving you that person because they've appeared so many times. I barely show up when you stream. Well, that's because you don't log in, clearly. But yeah, no, so for instance, if we wanted to talk about particular needs, chat. See if I can show it real fast. I don't think I can because I think I'd have to pop an apple, but... Wait, what am I doing? Brain. There we go. Which one's my... There you go. So chat. Dragon reverse scales have perpetually been an issue for me on my JP account. From the moment that I started, because the best time to gather dragon reverse scales was actually like in the first year of the game. Okay? They were always a problem. Originals, yes, 666. I have since basically addressed every single one of my dragon reverse scale needs. And I am still sitting on 400 of them now. Why? This is what the ordeal call nodes do. Like, the second you get one of these, you just hammer it over and 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 over. Literally 3 runs out of every single day will be for the purposes of getting that particular material until you decide that you are done with that material. Quite literally, this is why I say, like, if you're like, oh man, Cat, I really need this material that is available with storm pods, I just go, no, you don't. Because there are not enough nodes available with the storm pods right now that you really need to, like, go get extra supply. Like, I shit you not. Let me see if I can find it. Where is the actual seashell node, chat? Do you guys remember? Because it's like, it's one of the first ones that's available. Yeah. Hey, chat. Y'all need seashells on an A? All you got to do is make it till April. I'm not even kidding you. They are going to be dead very quickly. So not only that, but Nemo Fest is a seashell lotto. So yeah, we literally have like shells have actually kind of become dead, which feels good. There is an ever increasing need for them, but you will never struggle to get shells ever again. The JPCQ is actually quite fun. I have not done it yet. But yeah, that's like, again, this is why I'm telling you guys, like, no, you don't have to sit there and constantly degen just to get something that's available in Ordeal Call. Like, it's, you're going to get it anyways, because you're not going to, like, you're going to come in here and you're going to be like, oh my God, there's only like 3 Ordeal Call nodes or 4 Ordeal Call nodes available to me. What do I run? And you're going to look at your options. You're going to be like, there's only like one actual option. Because so many of them are like, hey, do you want one statue every 40 AP? And you're going to look at that and you're going to go, fuck no, that's terrible rates. So you're not going to run those. Or like, hey, would you like one blue gem for running this node? No, I would not. So you're going to, again, keep hammering certain nodes. Do we have the Cobalt Daggers from LB7 as Storm Pod nodes? No, I do not believe you do. Thank you for the 37, Frostwolf. I came for feathers, hand them over. Well, you saw the shell node also drops feathers, so there you go. Like I said, it's really not a huge deal. What about a blue rider gem? I'm so glad you asked. Is it over here? Oh, there you go. There's your silver caster statue. There's one that has like just what's the one over here? Yeah. Which is, I think this is because I think this is assassin is what this is. So like I think this is all your cavalry class blue gems. So it's like, oh, you can farm multiple of these at once. You're not going to want to. Like, for most people, these materials are dead. So, like, when this node comes out, this may as well be a node that you'll just never pay attention to. Like, some of the Ordeal Call nodes are nodes that, within reason, you should not need. Right? So that's why I say, like, you're not going to actually spend the time on those. You won't if you're a long enough player. Right. Yeah, I think this year's a little bit wonky because we just had the one Lotto, so it's like not really a thing. But like, and I'm gonna say this: if you're a newer player, the more boxes you can do, the better. Like I think the new player is technically the exception to the rule about boxes that I was talking about. But the issue at play there is a new player likely runs into another issue. No matter how many boxes they do, even if they keep trying to do more, they eventually get they have something that's blocking them. Like they can't ascend their units. They can't get to the higher levels of the skill because they don't have some other material. So like even if you're a new player, like I've literally seen a new player like waltz in, like fresh player, like less than 3 months and do 300 boxes in a Lotto. And they could not use all the boxes. And it's just like, yep. It is what it is. You just even if you like perfectly manipulated your account to have like the meta supports and stuff in time and you manage to be able to do all of that, you can't use it all. I'll make a separate thing for it and a bit more complex. Oh god. Oh god. Even after Lottos, I see so many people struggle with QP hell. That's forever a problem for such people. Well, so there's like a triage with QP, chat. For starters, QP needs to go like this. Ascension first and foremost. Skills. And then appends. And I'll also say appends like / grailing. Okay, like this is basically the way that you need to operate. There are exceptions to that, and those exceptions are going to be like the meta supports, or like, hey, I have a like very high priority like damage dealer, like somebody that's like, oh man, this is like a NP2 Arjuna altar, or something like that, and you're like, man, I really want to get him online faster. So like unlocking his mana loading append, if you have like the Koyanskaya set up ready to go, like, yeah, that's really useful, right? But in general, it's going to flow that way. I think they should raise the amount of QP you can get from daily QP stages, because 4 million for 40 AP is horrible. So what if I told you they have? And what if I told you that where it lies? Hey, don't look at that. And basically where it lies is here, chat. It's in these seas, these meta seas. So again, like basically being able to get more is reliant on you having the proper QPCs. If you do, like, again, you can get upwards of like 6 million. So about 5 million, you can get about 6. There's a little bit of built-in RNG in every run, but you can get it. Looks at Bella Lisa. Yep. So it's like that's the big reason why I tell you guys this. It's also why like I probably need to at this point. It's kind of on my to-do list now, is to go back and actually like redo the rare prism guide for like the rare prism shop, because the rare prism shop guide is one of my older videos, and of my older videos, it is the one that holds up the least well because of changes that they've made. Would players even run a multi-class gold gem node? No, probably not. Usually the only gold gem I ever hear anyone complain about in chat, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's this class. It's the only gold gem I ever hear anyone complain about. And there's obvious logic as to why that is. RP shop has been overhauled so many times on JP at this point. Oh yeah, like so for instance, I don't know if you guys remember, but I went on fandom the other day and I was like, wow, they overhauled the Da Vinci section. Why did I say that? Well, at several points in my career, I have made a video that hinged on that section of fandom. And instead, I just didn't use it. Like, it was either there in the background and I talked it and gave you guys the info instead, or I just didn't even go to the page. Because the Da Vinci shop like page on fandom for like the better part of 5 years has been gutter trash. That's why I was so surprised that they finally updated it. I figured they had just fucking forgot about it. Because, like, yeah, it literally was a case of, like, man, they have just not touched that in so long. Early suffering? Mm-hmm. I think several rare prism Cs are free rare prisms now. Yeah. And even that one becomes death after a few lottos. Yeah. Yeah, like, you usually, if you're doing lottos, and this is why, again, like, the conventional logic in FGO is to like hoard apples and like basically do a bunch of boxes at a lotto. Why? There's so much benefit to it. It's very much like expandability in terms of the overall account resources that you get. And again, like, for the people that usually do like 100 boxes in a lotto, they're always the people that I see needing QP gems, literally ascension mats for stuff. So, like, I'm not saying like, oh man, if you do 100, you're some pleb or something like that. Again, it can depend on your account, but it's usually the people that are doing less boxes that I see. Hey, I'm throughout the year running into these issues. Now, there is a good part of like micromanaging your account. So for instance, I'm gonna give you guys an example to this. Go to NA real fast. Now, if we look at my NA account, my current meta goals are thus. I don't really need to farm much of anything other than Trom. Therefore, my primary focus is my grailed units. My projects where I'm grailing to 120. Okay? Why? Because I don't really have much else to work on at the moment. Now, even if I did, we can put that aside. What am I doing right now to make sure that I am successful on Embers? Well, there's something on the screen right now that should tell you guys that I'm extremely efficient with my Embers. See this guy down here? He's basically shaking and fat and bloated. Okay? Stare at commas box, chat. Now ask me why. Sweet Crystal's the one you should absolutely get more than Fondé Chocolate. I'm still going, by the way, chat. I have not slowed down. Oh, now we're into my hoarded ones. Hey, look, I got 52 days left to use this one. So, I am hoarding all of these embers. Why am I hoarding all of these embers? And you'll also, if you paid really close attention there, you also saw I am currently at 690 out of 700 for, quote, servants. Also, my mailbox is full. Sorry, not my mailbox, my second archive. So, quite literally, my entire account stuffed full of embers. Why? Here's my current Grail project to 120. Why am I not grailing that unit? Okay, so extra welfare copies, extra copy beyond MP5, extra copy beyond MP5, extra welfare copies. So what units do I have left to level, chat? So why am I not leveling this unit? Oh, I have one more Grail left, which means I can take her at most to 106. Guess what, chat? I can make that happen right now, easily, with all the embers I have. Easily. Still have way too many embers. Okay? Yeah, there's also 2 times super suck right now for me. The issue at play is, the second I do that, what happens if my inventory gets full? Does anyone know the answer to this? What is burning embers? It's being inefficient. That means I'm wasting some of my hard-earned embers. So, I have not burned a gold ember since the 120 grailing came out. Which was like, what, chat? Like a year ago? Year and a half? Something like that? So, like, that's peak efficiency. I have not wasted a single valuable ember. Silver embers are not that valuable. So, okay. Number 4 rerun, basically. Yeah. So, like, again, that is me attempting to be as efficient as humanly possible with my embers. Why am I trying to be as efficient as humanly possible with my embers? Because each one of these, taking them to 120 is leveling them to 100 basically 21 times. That is so many astronomically, like, huge amount of embers. You don't need mana prisms or rare prisms or pure prisms, right? Well, I don't know. You be the judge. Doesn't that reach a point of too efficient? It does. You want to know how efficient I was? So you know the current NA Lotto here? That has 2 hours remaining. So this is your warning, chat. Do something. I had to roll out all of my boxes. Like, one slot at a time. It fucking sucked. But I did it. They're all done. I haven't done the black boxes yet. That's still on my to-do list, but I got like 7 days left on that, I think. I should. Yeah, you should have extra time to roll it out after it ends. But like, either way, it's one of those deals where you just go 5 days. Okay, thank you. Like, meanwhile, chat on JP, you saw I hit 240,000 currency, which is equal to 400 boxes. So I am 400 out of 500 on JP. So I'm just breakneck pushing to get JP done, is all it is. You didn't burn any of the embers yet? I only burned the silver embers. They're the only ones because silvers are better used as mana prisms. Like, I don't have any real benefit of throwing them there. Technically, I don't gain any benefit from mana prisms right now, but like, actually with the way JP is going, there is no physical way to buy out the entire shop and have a net gain on mana prisms anymore. So you will always lose if you buy out the entire shop. So we are headed for that future on NA. So I'm just taking every free mana prism I can get, even though I have so many already. So am I too efficient? Yes. That's exactly why there's like not really anybody out there that does what I do, chat. Like, I say that, I'm sure there are other people, but like, they're very rare. You don't normally see somebody that min-maxes and micromanages this much. People just go insane from it. They just don't do it, right? Like, that's how this is a thing. Like, so it is what it is. I don't know, right? Like, I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna get there eventually. You acknowledge your madness. Oh, absolutely. I've always said that I'm fucking insane. I don't expect anybody else to play to the level that I play, but I teach you guys how to play to the level that I play, and you guys can choose whether or not to apply it. Right now, I don't have to do anything left on the NA event. I have rolled out all my stuff other than the black presents. I have purchased everything from the shop that I so wish. So let's see, what else do I have here? I mean, I guess it could run more. So for instance, chat, if you guys are shy on like gold materials, don't forget the Holy Night Boxing Fest, the final node down here, can give gold. Like, it gives the bananas. So that it can be an out. I only recommend running this the one time, though. Don't run it more than that. Rings too if you need some more. The biggest issue is you just simply do not have enough of the gongs. Okay, we'll grab the archer. Grab the berserkers. This is all I do when I have extras, is I just come in here and I don't normally like make it my goal to clear any of these, but if I have any leftover currency, I just buy whatever statue or monument I have the least of. And that's usually a good method for keeping yourself topped off. Because again, if you think about it this way, chat, if you have like more than 600 on a given statue, you're probably okay for class score. And simultaneously, if you have like 600 of one and 590 of another, which one are you going to run out of first? Well, assuming equal servant releases, which is definitely not true over time, yeah, you're going to run out of the one with 590 first. So you just bring it up. But yes, that technically it's like we've been so long without like a release for certain classes, and JP's been hammering the extra classes particularly hard this year due to Ordeal Call. I've been blue appling to prepare for Ilia Fest. Huh? That's not going to help you right now. I mean, like, you can, right? But, like, no, again, to put... Well, hold on. I got to do 3 runs of something. All right, to Trom. I have to do 3 runs. I have nothing else I need to run, so we're going to Trom. All right, back into the Reichenbach. Actually, I need to stop running Reichenbach. I need to go to, I think it's Sirmium here. I think Sirmium's the best one for this. Yes. I don't know if he'd be able to do this node. Oh, do we... Let's run it. Let's see, because I actually don't know. I don't need... Oh, you're still not Bond 6. Really? Wow. Okay. Yep. When in doubt, we go back to Trom. It's the sabers there are the ones that I need like so much of. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why the fuck am I running this? It's because this is the exact same comp that I used for Reichenbach, and I'm just being lazy, and I need to see what the node actually is, and so I'm just doing it this way. And Charlie's probably still going to kill it, because I have MP3. I've been clearing advanced quest interludes, rank ups, and main interludes. Yeah, I mean, again, you kind of want to, like, catch up on your advanced quests every now and then, because there are milestones for it and stuff like that, but, like... I don't know. I'm cool for right now. I'd say probably the like strengthenings and interludes matter a little bit more as we head into LB7 coming up here. But do we have a interlude campaign or a strengthening campaign next week? I feel like we get something half cost, but maybe I'm misremembering. What happened to your ceremonial swords? I've just used them all. That's like, you need so many of them between like all the 6.5 units, and I unfortunately have all the 6.5 units. Okay, so it's a high health saber. It's a 3-3x node. So I might be able to do this. Palin, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I sleep on advanced quest unless limited mission or MLB on JP, so I'll do the same on NA. I'm very much the same. I don't know how many I need on JP. Eventually, I just do a bunch of them and I catch back up, but like, it is what it is, right? I'm not much better off. Yeah, like if you have like Charlie or Cream Hill uses a ton of them. So like, if you have either of those units, odds are God damn it, Aster. Odds are you probably have had to use a ton of them. And like, I actually haven't farmed Trom that much. That's my bigger issue. So I'm in Trom mode where like my in-between at any given moment is that. All right, let's throw Atalanta back in. It's been forever since I've used Atalanta. Unfortunately, the problem with using Atalanta is her first skill is only 1 turn. What emulator are you using? I am not. I'm using my phone as proof. Playing for Anniversary, I actually don't have those two. I do have Huyan. Yeah, Huyan I think uses a bunch as well. Okay, this could get spicy. Wow, yes. Yeah, you will see like my where is it? My mouse here, but it's because I'm actually like mirroring it into my computer. Like, for instance, just to prove this to you, that's me attempting to click the skills, right? Like I can't click any of them because it's not actually here. And to make it even more clear. Oh, why do I have 2 full screen projectors going on right now? There you go. Here's my OBS. I can extend the HP region. Yeah. She probably doesn't need that. Just the extra quick up there should be enough. Cool with you in the screen. The call is great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Some defense can't help you. Just rely on good old guts. Oh boy. JPX with CQ was fun because I had to actually strategize and use my head, and fucking Solemn Defense wasn't going to save me. So I had fun doing it the old fashioned way. Why was Solemn Defense not going to save you? Was it like spammy AoE? Or was it something else? There's a gimmick that screws it. When you say gimmick, is it Solemn Defense, Pierce? Sharks going kaboom, I see. That sounds weird, but I'll have to check it out. What's up, Angora? How's it going? Just beat the challenge quest. Thanks for reminding me about Carnimus remainder stuff. Yeah, that's like... I feel like Carnimus snuck up on us because it just does not last very long. And like everyone was, I think, trying to nat AP it. I did very good. I'm surprised at how efficient I was with Carnimus. But again, like even I almost missed the extra copies of Karna in the shop. Because for some odd reason they put them below like the QP stuff, which is really weird. Normally they're like right smack at the top. Artemis Orion, yeah. Really, I've said this before, but I feel like at this point, Squirtoria, OG Orion, and God, I almost did Castoria there. Squirtoria, OG Orion, and Moriarty all kind of need a buff. There we go. And so you can also tell if I'm not using an emulator because I fuck up. As chat knows. You could say Carnimus was quick. Every single target archer, basically. I wouldn't say like every single one, but particularly the 5 stars needed at this point. No, I do not include Super Ryan in that list. Much to chat's chagrin. Just rolled the last box is nice. Yeah, I'll probably like after stream tonight, I'll probably roll out my black boxes. Double Castoria, Summer Musashi, Dioscuri didn't stand a chance. Check it out on an A. You do realize you don't have to kill Dioscuri, right? Wait, no. Sorry, Dioscuri you have to kill. It's Paris you don't. Okay, never mind. I was thinking you were talking about killing the like 1.5 million one, and I was like, but you don't have to. Antikarna copies were at the top. You just had to use the ticket to unlock him permanently, and they would appear. So maybe it's because they went to the bottom because I hadn't exited the shop and re-entered. So if I had re-entered the shop, they would appear at like the top. Otherwise, I can't think of why. Killing Paris is the cherry on top. Hey, whatever floats your goat. Just Squirtoria looped it? Yep. I mean, that's like, again, you see a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, Squirtoria doesn't need a buff because of how strong she can be. And I'm like, well, yeah, she can be very strong. I'm like, that being said, you can also do a lot of what Squirtoria does with other units now. So like, to me, Squirtoria, if anything, has actually had her niche invaded quite a bit. And she is not a like unit that you have to have. Whereas like back in the day, oh bro, like everybody freaking rolled Squirtoria. I really want them to bring back really old events because I never got to do majority of events before I started doing Kestoria's release. I want them to, again, like actually give us the main interlude system. I saw somebody when we were talking about the Evocation Festival guide, they were like, oh, wait, no, you said that they replaced the main interludes, but that's not true. And I'm like, it is true from the portion that I'm talking about it. So when they initially were doing main interludes, the primary reason was to bring back story with welfares. And somewhere along the line, they just said, you know what? None of this is true anymore. And main interludes are now actually 0.5 events for the main story. I don't know when that definition really changed, but it changed. So like, yes, it doesn't replace that part of it, but it does replace like, hey, now there's a new mechanism by which to get your welfares. Which frankly, the main interlude system was dog trash for that, because we basically only ever got, I think it was what, like 2 or 3 welfares out of it entirely. So like they really did not keep going with that system. But yeah, I do hope at some point that they actually do it. They have said that they want to. They specifically have mentioned like, yes, I would like to actually like start finding a way to give us the story for these welfares again. But I'm gonna be real with you all, chat. Like, I don't really hold my breath when they say stuff like that anymore, because I'm not gonna say it's an empty promise. It's more like, I don't doubt that they want to. I doubt that they have the capability to. Because I do think the devs like struggle for certain things like that, where it's like, it's not a imperative priority. It doesn't, it's not like, it's not something that actually allows the game to keep moving forward, like main story releases and stuff like that, or event releases, right? Like, so it's just not their priority, and because it's not their priority, they never get around to it. I'm curious how past events stack up to current events. Oh, so much easier. Like, it's really funny how like even the difference a year can make in terms of like having access to certain units. Like, so for instance, when we had the LB7 stuff, and again, I'm not going to get into spoilers because I know we got LB7 coming up. I rolled through those. They were so much easier the second time around. Obviously, I knew what the fights were, but it was also a case of I just had access to units I didn't have access to back then. So it made some of the fights a lot easier. Older events were much harder with lack of supports DPS choices. Yes. Is it normal that I can unlock shop and JP event without even completing LB6? No. Would you like clarification as to why? So the reason why is because specifically for the lottos of late, and I love that they do this, but they've made it where it's like, oh, you can't actually get the welfare and you can't actually complete the story if you haven't done LB6, but you can still do the event and participate in the shop otherwise, which is really nice. I like that they do that. The game is running on some doodly coding. So, all right. And I don't mean to like pick you out here as this, but like, I have a lot of my friends like say stuff like that too, and I've tried to really combat this with them. This idea that like, oh, it's spaghetti code, because I hear this get thrown out in like numerous other games and stuff like that. Like, this is even unique to FGO. Chat, that is not an excuse, right? Think about it. Is it not the dev's job? Are there not coders that they have hired to be able to handle that? Does it make it easy? No, probably not, but it is their job. So it cannot be wielded as an excuse because they just have to get over it, right? It's like saying like, why aren't you doing that? Because my job is tough. Oh, okay, that's not an excuse. You still have to get the job done. Like, and I'm not like, again, like I'm not trying to be like, oh, how dare you bring that up? It's just this is something that has come up at least a lot of late, and I'm like, this should still be the same devs that have been working on this game for quite a bit of time. I'm sure they have a lot of turnover. I'm sure there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But if they don't know the code, who the fuck does? Right? Like think about that. It's their job to know the code. All real coffee becomes spaghetti code sooner or later. Yeah. It causes messes that happened last week. Yes, but no, right? Like, so was it the old code that caused the like problem with the Lotto and why the game went down? No. How do we know this? Because it was the new update that broke it. It was the new shit that they put in that broke it, not the old shit. It's not like the old shit is failing. It's they tried to do something new. They didn't actually bug test it. Shit broke, and then they went like, ah, crap. Or, you know, they bug tested it. They thought it was good, but they didn't catch the bug, right? Like, either one of those two things is true. I'm going to assume for their sake they did bug test it. But either way, yeah, it's like it was their new update is what broke it. Ivan Raid could be a spaghetti code argument because it's technically old. However, so the issue with NA is that for NA, we have a different game state than JP had. JP had the original, had the original game state. For NA, JP gives us their code, but we have received prior QOL updates early that JP didn't have at that time. So these conflict with the existing code sometimes. So we are in a completely different game state than JP was when they were at this point. If that makes any sense. It's not an excuse, but like, it's a reason why it happens. And so it's like, it's ultimately still up to the devs to catch any issue like that. And unfortunately, what happened with the Ivan raid is everybody went home for Christmas. And when that happened, they basically did not catch the fact that something was borked, and thus we lost an entire raid, as I'm sure somebody had to scramble back to the office, but by the time they did, it was too late, and the Ivan raid was shot. Why? Because the Ivan raid was only available for like 2 to 3 hours anyways. So, like, the second it broke, it was just gone. There was nobody that was going to resolve it in time. Ivan was just a bad parameter, exactly. Yeah, which is wild. Like, if you went and you looked it up, it was like, oh, the start date for the Ivan raid was actually like, or no, sorry, the end time for the Ivan raid was before the start time for the Ivan raid. Therefore, it literally was a null value and could not run. So it's like such a like textbook thing. And you would think that that would be like on their checklists of things to check whenever they implement JP code onto the NA server. You would think dates and times would be absolutely the like number one thing that they would want to check, because our time zones are completely different than JP. And we have daylight savings. So you would think that would be like their number one thing. But I guess that one slipped through, right? And like I said, that may not even be on the NA localization staff. That may be on the JP engineering staff, because I don't know who actually preps that stuff. I'd like to point out there have been games with way worse spaghetti code. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But like I said, like, spaghetti code cannot be an excuse. It literally can't be. Spaghetti code is the excuse that fanboys use to defend a game from the problems that it is having from its detractors. And that's the truth of the matter, right? Like, why do I say this? Because when do people declare spaghetti code? Whenever something in the game breaks. Why? Why did something in the game break? The devs didn't catch it. So it's literally like it's people making excuses for the devs. It's the truth of the matter. Like, and I'm not saying this like with any sort of malice. I'm just saying like that is actually what people will do. They will declare spaghetti code as a defense mechanism to protect the devs from criticism. They'll be like, oh, it's not the devs' fault. It's the old code's fault. And it's like, why is the code old, right? Like that's on the devs if that's the case. If the code needs an overhaul, that's the devs' job. And there have been times in like games where like devs have had to go and they've had to say like, okay, we need to overhaul our code. FGO has actually done this. And that's the other reason why I'll push back against the spaghetti code thing here. It's because like the devs have updated their code several times. So if there is spaghetti code, how did it get missed? It's like, okay, this is on you. If I remember, they said they had trouble bringing old events into the current game version. Maybe that's why they gave up on main interludes. Yeah, people say that like, oh, it should be really easy to do a main interlude. The devs claim that it's really freaking hard. I think the truth is in between. It's certainly not as easy as players think it is. It's certainly not as hard as the devs claim it is, because the devs are using that as an excuse, right? Like the devs, of course, the devs are saying it's way too hard. We can't do that. Don't expect that of us. And yet they did it for like the first like 4 years of the game flawlessly. So just saying. But yeah, like I'm sure there is like it's not just as easy as, hey, let me just copy paste, right? Like they have to actually like implement it with new code, and again, a lot of this is on a newer version of the engine. So they would have to scrub it. They would have to make sure that it actually does work appropriately and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's not that easy, right? But it's also not as hard as I think they're making it sound. Because again, they have like even with this, we are currently playing a rerun event on NA. So we know for a fact that the devs can do reruns when they want to. I think the truth of the matter, and Mr. 2 let the cat out of the bag with that one, for the reason why they don't do reruns anymore. They have noticed a startling trend of players don't play reruns. And because players don't value the reruns, that's the thing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and point this out. I cannot tell you how many people in the last 2 weeks, just that I talked to either in VIP, in Discord, in again in stream here, or even saw off comments on like my YouTube channel. I cannot tell you how many people I saw that were like, oh, it's Carnimus, it's a rerun, all right, I'm done, I don't need to do this. Which is a wrong mentality, I would say. Like, if you're trying to, now again, I can't tell you how to play the game, but if you're trying to like gain resources for your account, playing the rerun is the smartest thing you could do. Imagine the efficiency of an event, and now it's twice as efficient. That's what reruns are. Reruns are twice as efficient as a normal event. Why? Because they're half cost in the shops. So like, if you don't do a rerun, you're just throwing away free resources. And I've always said that. I don't know why people skip reruns. It's really weird. Plus, there are legitimately like certain like CEs and stuff where like getting a second like MLB of it's like really freaking nice. And again, like for the majority of time, that's also where we got a lot of our rare prisms from back in the day. Oi, oi, oi. You know. You feeling guilty? Don't call me out. Yeah. K&K is main story and still not in the main interlude shop. It is not main story, but I do think it's integral at least to understanding Shiki. So I think they should put it in the main interlude shop. But yeah, that's a thing, right? I do need to do my storm pods, but I will probably wait till they hit 9 out of 9 tomorrow. Because I think the storm pods reset at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and that's probably when I'll go and do them. It's basically how I min-max the Lotto. All right, chat, we got to do Abby's review. I've been dreading this. I haven't wanted to do it. So instead, we're going to play Sudo. I'm just kidding. Okay. There we go. How do we recommend something for Abby? Why don't you want to do it? Because Abby is a very difficult unit to recommend. We did confirm the master skill thing, right, Avalon? Ugh. Yes, I sent you 2 screenshots for that. That's what I thought you did. Oh, thank you. Okay, so you use the charge on Chiome. Yeah. Damn, that was such a great use of that. Okay. That extra 1% really helped, right? Yeah. Yeah, I kind of see it. The fact that it like pulls up like the Prisma Causeway event instead, when I'm sure Prisma Cosmos is more searched for at this point. Yeah, does anyone remember the shitty ripoff of Prisma Cosmos? There you go. Saintess of Winter. I couldn't remember it myself. Wait. The Victor of the Moon? No, that's the Buster one. What's the arts one? God damn it. Another ending, thank you. Yeah. You know what? Let's pull open a Mystic Code for demonstrative purposes. You know, I wonder what effect the thing has on something like this. It probably ups the percentile chance for the dodge, which does fuck all. Yeah, I was like, it probably, like, even then I would assume, like, even if it was like somehow rounding this, it just probably rounds down. Like, you can't have 1.1 times dodge, right? Like, okay. Let me make sure. Working. I love sometimes seeing the recent images, and it's just demonic monkey. Demonic monkey. I don't even want to know. Return to monkey. Hey guys, my name's Khadroth, and today we're going to be talking to you about Abigail Williams Santa, aka Welfare Abby. So Welfare Abby is our third version of Abby. Obviously, we have the original form, and then we also have her summer form, who is an AoE foreigner compared to the single target foreigner for her first one. This one, however, is going to be coming to us as a support arts pretender. And again, as a Welfare, you're going to be guaranteed to be able to get all 5 copies. She's coming to us with the Christmas 2024 event. This will be 2026 on NA, or again, the Nutcracker Christmas, as I like to call it. So she is a very interesting unit out of the rip. A little bit, her kit is kind of wonky and takes a little bit of understanding to kind of get what they're maybe intending to do with her. She is a very intriguing unit, but I'm going to say I do have some issues with that kit. So we're going to talk about this as we kind of go through. I do think Abby can be used effectively, but I do think for the majority of players out there, she's going to be a unit that is going to be quite, how should I put it, like middling, where basically, unless you really like her, you're probably not going to see much value in her, and you'll probably prefer other options. But again, we'll definitely go over how I think you guys can use her effectively and where some of those issues exist. Let's go ahead and let's dive right in. So taking a look at Abby's raw stats here, you guys can see she gets about 9k attack. Again, she's a 4-star as a Welfare here. So 9k attack, still at least a pretty decent range. I do like to see people in the 9 to 10k range for a 4-star. So she's right on the cusp of that, definitely on the lower end, but still acceptable. Her HP value here is only 11.7. I am going to say this is somewhat of a concern for her, but not a huge one. This is still okay for a 4-star, and she does at least have some sustain in her kit that's going to allow her to kind of survive. Her attribute here is Earth Attribute. She's got 102 star absorption, which is basically a little bit higher than the Pretender average. her star generation is actually going to be a whopping 20.4. This is actually probably one of her better aspects. Again, considering the fact that she is arts, having good star generation, especially with what she has in her kit, is going to be to her benefit. Unfortunately, her biggest concern is going to come right here, which is the NP charge attack. This is the amount of NP you gain whenever you attack. And again, this is not a good number. She is an arts unit, and she does have decent hit counts on her arts card. We'll talk about that when we get to the deck. So there is some offsetting of this, but this is going to be her primary issue, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get deeper in. Her NP charge defense here is a standard 3%. It's just the amount that she gets basically generated per hit per attack against her. And her death rate here is going to be 24%, which is a little bit under the average, but pretty much right on it. Her alignment is chaotic good. She is female gendered, and her basic traits include child servant, intima elish nullification, existence outside the domain, fairy tale servant, hominide servant, humanoid, normal servant, and threat to humanity. Again, probably the most interesting one right there is that intima elish nullification. Gil will not be able to do extra damage to her. So taking a look at her deck here, you guys can see she's got a, at least nowadays, somewhat rare deck. We don't often see a whole lot of triple arts decks anymore. Usually they are reserved for supports, and again, with her being a little bit of a support, we can kind of see that's what they were going for here. So she does have triple arts. Again, the 4 hit counts on the arts card is going to make the sort of anemic NP gain offset a little bit and should help her out quite a bunch. She does have the singular buster and quick card. They're also each 4 hits, so nothing too crazy about that. Again, 3 hits is normally your carding average, so with it being 4 hits on each of these, your performance should be okay. Again, the only one that is average is going to be the extra attack here at 5 hits. Taking a look at her active skills now, you can see she will increase her own arts performance for 3 turns by 30%. She'll increase her own critical damage for 3 turns by 50%. And she will gain critical stars every single turn for 3 turns, basically scaling all the way up to 10 as if she has a fragment of 2030 equipped. All of this on a 6-turn cooldown. So definitely we've got multi-turn sort of effects here. But ultimately, for a support, this is a pretty selfish skill, and this is where some people get the idea of Abby being more of a crit unit. There's a little bit more to that. We'll talk about that as we go on. But again, this is kind of one of the concerns that you're going to have when you use Abby, is that Abby is in a little bit the same way as someone like, say, Miyu. She's got supportive characteristics, but she's also got selfish characteristics. So this does mean that she's not a like all for the party type of support. You're going to have to be careful with how you use her, and you're probably going to need to custom tailor the composition of the party to help Abby succeed. But again, that is just something that you need to understand about her. Taking a look at the second skill here, she increases the value of master skills while she is on the field by 20% for 3 turns. I actually really like this because the first day that I looked at this, fandom did not have it worded this way. This is a better wording of the skill. That is to say, when she is on the field, any master skill that you use will literally gain extra effects. Again, it's 20% here. This doesn't scale with the skill itself, so it's just a flat amount. She also has this on her NP. So this is a nice thing because it does mean that any sort of mystic code ability will get further enhanced. What do I mean by that? So taking a look here at the base mystic code, something like momentary reinforcement, the second skill that gives the 50% up attack, this will get enhanced by an additional, like, say, 20% from that skill. That means that you're going to get even more attack when you use this skill, not just the 50%. You could get, again, 20% additional added on to that. So this is a really nice effect. However, I think in the majority of cases, this is not going to have that great of an impact. For instance, there are certain things it will affect and certain things that it won't. Like the dodge here is not going to gain any benefit. Meanwhile, the heal will also gain an additional 20% healed based off of that. So there is some tangible benefit, but keep in mind that you're only going to be using your Mystic Code skills very sparingly in any fight. they usually have long cooldowns, and you usually do not see a second use of the skill. Again, if we're talking just conventional farming, you're probably only using it the one time at most, if at all. And then certainly when we're talking about challenge fights, the longer the fight goes on, the more you get to use these skills. But obviously, you're kind of probably hoping to end the fight faster just for the sake of timeliness and, again, sort of ease of completion. So there is something to be said about that. Abby is, though, a little bit of a stall unit, and I think you'll see that as we go through the kit a little bit more. But again, she does have the increase right here of the master skills. She also has an increase to her own NP generation rate of 30%. This is definitely going to help offset this anemic 0.38, but there are still going to be concerns. Even with this, basically Abby with an NP into 2 more arts cards will still probably not get her back to full. Yes, you might be able to crit with that. That may get you a little bit closer, but you're probably going to want to do certain things to help facilitate Abby getting back to another NP. She's going to increase her own critical star generation rate for 3 turns by a whopping 100%. This is the similar sort of effect that someone like Cass Gill has. So this is a really nice effect, and you're probably thinking like, ooh, okay, I can use this. And you can, however, keep in mind that other than the first aspect of this skill, literally everything here is also selfish. That is to say, it only applies to Abby. So we're through pretty much the first 2 skills here with no tangible effect to the party other than the master skill effect. Now you can see again, this will also grant her a self-evasion for 2 attacks, 3 turns. This is going to be again, as we like to call it, hard defense. So this is a very nice effect to have. It's going to allow you to invalidate NPs and stuff like that. Definitely nice that she has this on top of some of her other effects, kind of offsetting that lower HP value. Taking a look at the third skill here, we finally get to her first real supportive skill. This is going to charge the party's NP gauge by 20%. It's not a huge amount, obviously, but it is something, and it is going to be a reason that you'll probably want to lure the skill. It's also going to overcharge the party's NP by 1 stage, 1 time for 3 turns. What does this mean? This means you could potentially use Abby as something of, again, a sort of booster setup unit to get somebody else to pop off. But it could also mean that you could use her in something like the Invincible/Immortal comp, get more charges of Solemn Defense out there, allow yourself to scale a little bit better and be more survivable. So there are a couple of uses that you can use to, again, gain benefit from the overcharge effect of this. She's then going to increase the max HP of child servant allies for 3 turns. Now remember, max HP functions as a perfect heal. That is to say, it does not care how much health you have, it will always restore that amount, even if it would take you over your cap. So max HP is a very, very nice effect to have. Unfortunately, it's also something that can be removed, so just be careful with that. But keep in mind, this is going to affect all child servants. So there are some potential synergies like right here with Miu, where you have another support. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really just going to be about, do you want to pair any of these units with her? Even someone like Benny could be really good due to her also supportive capabilities. But again, it's trying to think about what's going to work well with Abby, considering Abby is a somewhat selfish support. So totally up to you for who to run with her, but the child servants would at least gain this extra heal that Abby would have from her third skill. She's from there going to gain crit stars kind of on command, all the way up to 20 of them, so it's just a nice crit star bomb. So she already has really good star generation base-wise for an arts unit. She has a skill that enhances it further by 100%, and she has a star bomb right here in the third skill, meaning she is quite the star generator on her own. Now, taking a look at her passive skills, she has magic resistance A-, increasing her own debuff resistance by 19.5. She's got territory creation C here, increasing her arts performance by 6%. So again, that's going to help offset, again, a little bit more of that, poor NP gain that she has. She gets existence outside the domain B as if she were a foreigner, granting her more critical stars per turn automatically, and then debuff resistance by an additional 8%. So again, this is going to stack basically with the first effect up here, giving her, again, almost 30% at that point. And then her final one here is going to be Dream of Prima Donna A, which is going to increase her own critical star generation rate of her arts cards further by an additional 20%. So again, even more star generation on those arts cards, really helping things out. I am going to recommend the mana loading append for her, but keep in mind she is welfare, so you should be able to get all of her coins. The third append being anti-berserker could also be beneficial. Now, normally you're probably thinking, what? She's a support. Why would I want to do this? Well, remember, we did say some people feel like she can be a good crit support, a good crit unit. So think of her almost like, and I've seen people throw out the comparison to something like Super Ryan. I don't really feel like she's Super Ryan. If anything, she's a little bit more like Himiko in that regard. So I think you're going to see a little bit of similarity there. Having that ability to be able to crit pretty hard as a support is going to kind of allow you to pop off against certain enemies. Berserkers could potentially be someone really good for her to do that against. Just keep in mind the Berserkers are also going to be hitting her back hard as well if you're trying to get into a knockdown drag out. So to me, the fourth append is going to be really nice. Why? Because it's further going to increase that crit damage. Again, an additional 30% on top of everything else that she has flying around. She's got 50% in her kit. She's got 50% on her NP. So you've got quite a bit there that you could potentially enhance even more. And her fifth append, obviously the skill reloading. This is going to be really nice just for helping her get back to some of those abilities. She thankfully doesn't have very long skill cooldown times. They're pretty much just the average of 6 turns. But being able to get back to them faster may be the difference in life and death if we have a very sort of quick schedule that we need to meet within the fight of getting, again, an additional re-up of the skills. Keep in mind, too, you could also run her with someone like Tamamo that may be able to reduce those skill cooldowns even further. So that may be something else to think of when regards to, basically building a composition for her. Now we get to the NP. As we've already denoted, it is a support-based NP. It's going to increase the value of master skills by 10% while she is on the field for 3 turns. So when paired with her second skill, this gives her a 30% increase to master skills. So it's why I was hesitant to throw out numbers here, but keep in mind that this is just basically going to be even more at this point. So you would literally take this 3,000 and add on an additional 30%, which is going to be an additional 900 healing, for instance, right here. So you're literally going to be getting, instead of 3,000, almost 4,000 HP off of this. It is statistically significant, but as we mentioned before, you're not going to be using the Mystic Codes very often in terms of their effect. So consider it as more of a one-off benefit if you do use her. This can also be used to scale up things like charge effects from Mystic Codes. Just keep in mind that, say, a 10% charge from a Mystic Code would become 13% with the extra 30%. So it's not going to be that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. You could maybe also try to get away with pairing her with someone like Tezcatlipoca or something like that also has the ability to enhance these for even more effects. But that's going to be a really niche sort of scenario as to whether or not that can actually be something that benefits you. Still, it's better to have it than not, but ultimately it's not going to be a very game-changing type of deal in most scenarios. She's going to increase the party's critical damage for 3 turns. This does scale with NP levels. Thankfully, we have a welfare here, so you're going to be guaranteed to be getting NP5. So this is going to be, she's going to increase the party's critical damage by 50% for 3 turns. Definitely nice. Definitely puts her in that crit support category. And as we already mentioned, she herself has 50% in her kit. So she's going to be walking around with at least 100% for a couple of turns there. And if you can manage to get back and get her yet another NP in rapid succession, you could begin to spiral this pretty decently and be able to have some, again, decent firepower out of that. From here, she's also going to recover the party's HP. Again, this is giving you a little bit more sustain. This is just an actual heal instead of the max HP by 3,000 here at the max NP level. And then also reduce all enemies' NP gauge by 1. This does give her the waiver-esque drain effect on all enemies. So again, this is where I say she does have some capacity as a stall unit, just depending. So you could pair her up with, I don't know, say something like Castoria and Tamamo and herself, and she herself could be sort of the crit engine and someone that's really just going to fire off. but really you're going to be able to kind of just keep the sustain going, keep denying the enemy, and just making it so that the enemy just can kind of never get anything done while you just sit there out healing them and critting them to death. So there is that possibility if you want to go for it. In that regard, I do like the fact that we have another sort of welfare here that can play into these stall compositions, because it really feels like in a lot of ways the game has gotten away from that sort of mentality. So who knows, maybe the devs will try to pull a fast one on us and make stalling more of a thing in the future. But either way, I at least like that we have another option that will be available to literally everybody as long as they did the event and had the prerequisites necessary to get the welfare from it. Which again, is LB6. Her overcharge effect increases the party's arts performance by 3 turns by 20% base. Now this does scale up. Remember, she does get the 2 times for or 2 times, sorry, 2 ranks 1 time over 3 turns there. So having an additional 30% there for 3 turns on the party could definitely be solid. Like I said, she could be a setup man for an actual damage dealing unit, or herself could be somebody that could, you know, be the engine and the damage dealer. So this is definitely really nice. She's got a lot in her kit there to be able to help solve that NP gain issue. So I think in the end she'll be fine, but it's going to require you to have kind of everything up, everything going. And so there will be periods where you experience really poor arts card performance for her when you have downtime, when the overcharge isn't ticking, when the NP gain is off. That sort of stuff could be problematic for Abby. So just pay attention to that and be very, very careful for how you run her. Now, based off that, some of our craft essence recommendations, if you're just going to be using her as a pure support, Prisma Cosmos is going to be wonderful for helping automate that process, just getting her to an NP over and over again, kind of without having to use very many of her cards. But maybe you want to use your cards. It's just totally up to you. There is an alternative to Prisma Cosmos if you don't have it. It's not really going to be that good for her, given the fact that it has NP damage, but it is sort of the more common one. It just has way less charge per turn. Just keep in mind that there is another alternative to it should you need it. Another ending is going to be a stellar CE for her, given the fact that it is arts up of 15% here, as well as critical damage of an additional 25%. And it is one of the rare early game CEs that we had released to us that is all attack scaling, but goes beyond the traditional 2000 cap. So it does go up to 2400, giving you a little bit extra oomph there if you want to be able to pop off even harder. So again, another ending, if you manage to have it at MLB, if you manage to max it out, could be a very good CE if you're trying to just be somebody that's going to really power her through. Also, something like Honey Lake, like anything that can give her a power modifier that will impact, you know, not her NP because she has a support NP, but more or less her cards, could be really, really good for her. This one's going to give her ignore invincibility, so it's going to stop enemies from being able to kind of prevent her damage. Again, she does have all attack scaling on this, and having the additional burn power mod scaling up to 40% is going to make your cards just hit 40% harder right there. So that's really, really a nice thing, especially when you start thinking about some of these monster crits that could occur. Yes, you would need to put burn command codes on her cards for this to work. But heck, you're probably going to be wanting to put command codes on her cards anyways to help out with the critting. So either way, this could definitely be something that could really help her out. Remember, you only need 1 burn effect on the enemy for this to be true, so you don't even have to make it like all of your cards, especially if you're trying to like solo with her or something. But yes, this is a very, very powerful modifier that can work for a crit unit, and I've used it plenty of times successfully myself. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like Abby has a very disjointed kit. She's part selfish, part support, but it's kind of up to you to determine how you want to use her. If you see her as more of a support, she can at least provide some, again, like additional benefit in that. Maybe you just want that Mystic Code to hit kind of a little bit higher on the amount of damage boost that it gives. Maybe you're just looking for a little bit of extra crit damage in her NP. Maybe you're looking for some sustain with her healing. I don't know. It's up to you. I do think Abby is an interesting unit, but like I said, I do think she's going to be kind of niche. I think a lot of players are going to go, hey, I don't really need this. This is not something I really want to focus on. But let me know. What do you guys think about Abby? Do you guys think that this is a good kit, or do you guys think that this is ultimately kind of something that you don't really see yourself using too often? I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts, and I will see you guys for the next one. Okay. Looks like Johanna's Arts crit strat not working either. Oh, you can do it with a Johanna. You just have to be like smart about it. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I think the kit is better than when I first looked at it. And I realize like the drain here is definitely a benefit. That's what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to get you in a support composition where she is the critter and she's making everybody else also capable of at least somewhat critting. And then she's depriving the enemy while healing the party is what they're trying to really go for there. That's where they see her being useful. I don't think she's super good at that because she doesn't provide that like party-wide protection. But you can always just take another unit that can provide that, like Castoria. So in that regard, yeah, she's a decent addition to that. Like if you had Abby on one hand, Castoria on another, and like some damage dealer that dealt like, you know, decent, like had decent loopability and decent like crit damage, she would go really well with that. At least not to the extent of replacing an NP. Yeah, like I said, to me, she's more Himiko, less Super Orion. Like, and even then, Himiko can technically pump those numbers, right? But like, it really does feel like that's a little bit more what they're going for. It's Himiko is this like selfish support where she's like, yeah, I buffed the rest of the party, but I'm actually just trying to Oonga Boonga. Feels like that's a lot of what they want to do with Abby here. It's just not as good as Himiko. That makes any sense. Himiko's awesome. Yes. You need to Star Flood with Star Region to make Arts Crit Servants work. Well, I mean, again, I think she has that here. She has the increased generation by 100%. And like I said, this is abnormally high. Abnormally high for an arts unit. You normally do not see this. So like, it's interesting. It's an interesting kit. I need to like sit down and use her a little bit more myself, but like, I don't know. It just is what it is. It's mostly about the damage, yeah. I think like, I think they feared making a proper like welfare Super Orion, right? They did not want somebody that's just gonna sit there and like keep going basically ape shit, right? They wanted somebody that was instead gonna be, I don't know. All right, let's do the CQ chat. I have no idea what the CQ is. Na 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 na. Miffling. Does Abby Santa pair well with Van Gogh? I did have the thoughts while reviewing it of there is some similarity there to Van Gogh. I do think you could, but I'm not going to say it's like an actual good pairing because Abby does the whole like arts buff. If she buffed the party with quick, yes, I would think she would be, but here we go, Suffering Incarnate Cat Jam. What? Oh boy, chat. God, I love fandom. This is an amazing CQ. It's a good thing they told me everything I need to know. It gives a lore, and it costs 5 AP. Wow. It's almost like I already knew that. It's lots of enemies per wave is all I know. Yeah, I'm pulling up app media. I'm sorry, chat. When you throw a question mark for a CQ, of course I'm gonna go fucking look it up. Like, yeah, I could go in blind, but it's literally just me going in blind. It's like asking me to fail and have to redo it again. So no, I will not be doing that. Not in the middle of a lotto. Okay, so it's 5 waves of enemies. Oh no. Wait, what? Huh? It's 3 battles. The first battle has 5 waves. The second battle has 7 waves. And the third battle has 2. Mm. Okay. Okay. I like this. Uh does anyone dare? No one dares. By 5? Oh, that's nice. Just curious, Cad, where'd you go to get that info? App Media. It's a Japanese site. So, chat, there are 2 sites that the majority of all FGO info comes from at this point. Well, I say that. There's probably 3, because Atlas is probably the third. Number 1 is App Media. Number 2 is probably Damas Aurea, which like has all the drop data. And number 3 is Atlas, that has the data mining. So like at this point, I think Atlas has started to take over Damas Aurea's niche. So it's probably just between Atlas and App Media. But yeah, like most of the other like wiki sites quite literally pull from the Japanese wiki, which is this. So the only issue is like there is definitely a language barrier here. You have to know how to read Japanese Google Translate. And all I saw is I just looked at like what the actual node composition was. App Media is useful. FGO Wiki misses tons. I think every wiki misses a ton of stuff. Like, I don't think even App Media is like quote unquote perfect, right? But like, I mean, it's something. it's something. My lord. I really need another Prisma to drop. Because I think I only have the shitty Prisma ripoff as an additional. I feel like I missed it. Chat, scream at me if I go past it again. Huh? Huh? I'm blind because I know I have it on JP. Invincible comp and call it a day. To be fair, that is what App Media recommends. And when I see that a node has like this many waves to it, yeah. Yeah. Looks like App Media is useful if you play JP, which I don't. It's useless. So you say that, but I have had times where it was useful on an A. Oh, there it is. God. Yeah, we're gonna flip that because oh my god, why is Cha-Cha in my backline? What the actual crap? Rafts and an additional. This is just me loading this out so I don't have to do this again. Getting your backline when you least expect it. Yep. Do you think that your NA account has the requirements for all the Bleached Earth extra missions with ascensions, bond levels, etc.? Probably. Like, if it's short on anything, it's probably ascension mats. But it's definitely got all the like statues and stuff. Oh no, I can't switch Merlin. Okay. In the first and second ways, be careful of sharks and endure. Oh, okay. Sweet. So just don't kill sharks directly. It's easy, chat. I don't know why I just didn't think of that before. I don't know if they're immediately going to backfill. That is probably something I need to be careful of. Yeah, he means class score. I just use 2030 on Castoria Merlin. Let the crits give me NP. So it's really interesting because a lot of the time I find that I don't really actually need to do that if I get Merlin's NP rolling, because Merlin's NP provides a shit ton of stars. And usually around the like 30 star range, you start just like raining crits in on the party. So I find like taking a 2030 to not have as much value. That being said, I did still put a 2030 on the Proto Merlin in the backline for lack of anything better. Wait, did I kill a shark right there? Huh? I'm so confused. How do you tell if something is a shark, or does it just like randomly appear? It had 6k HP. Was I blind? I could have sworn there was like a boar, a ghost, and was it a chicken? No, it was a shark? I'm so confused. I feel like I'm being gaslit right now. I don't think that's actually a thing. Okay, down it goes. See, that's a monkey. Shark pirate. Oh, okay. 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 Oh, wait, this is going to be problematic. Chicken shark? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. That, like, I'm calling it a chicken and chat's calling it a shark. Ah, so they do backfill. Interesting. Okay. I didn't pay attention the first time, but that means I can still get off the full-blown invincible comp. Is this an advanced quest? No, this is the JP Lotto CQ. Chad, is that boar also explosive? He looks explosive. I don't know what to believe anymore. Oh. I'd like to take that Castoria Arts crit, but I'll take the 80%. Chad, is that also a shark? Is that a ghost shark? That's a shark. Okay, so the shark explodes after a couple of turns, if I'm reading this correctly. Like, I can just ignore it. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, that's just one turn. Merlin, on the other hand, is taunted, so he gonna lose it all. So we reasonably need to be ready. Gonna reduce his cooldowns. See, chat? Just don't kill the shark. Easy. Easy. Just don't kill the shark, chat. Fuck. Shark says hi. Yep. Where's the all shark wave? Don't put that evil on me. Popeye's mini for Christmas, chicken shark. It's finger looking good. Yeah, did you guys know that like KFC is like the like biggest thing over in Japan for Christmas? Like the traditional Christmas meal is to get a bucket of KFC. I'm not even kidding. Hmm. It doesn't matter what I do here as long as I don't kill the shark. Shark, please explode. Thank you. All according to Cake. No, it's the shark again! That's what I get. So tempted to just AoE. So tempted to just AoE chat. Why shouldn't I? I deserve an AoE. I feel like this should be a thing, right? Like I should just be able to do this. What's the downside? I can't think of any. So they should too, is next level. Yep. You'll see, Cad. That's fine. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, monkey. Monkey that steals buffs. Okay, that could go wrong. Although I think he only steals like one buff at a time, if memory serves. Monkey see monkey doo doo. Monkey fleeing poo poo. One more and Merlin dies, it's game over. I mean, it's fine. I just don't have to hit the next shark. The only issue is just like needing to actually get my buffs up. So I just said, fuck it. I'll take 6,000 damage to get the healing again. Like it was just a conscientious trade-off that I made. However, that needs to die, which is unfortunate because the other have like 3 turns. But he is just burning through my stacks. Oh, thank you. You charged Merlin for me, you fool. Is that a okay. Wait, what was that? Did it... Huh? Wait, what? Did it just send the monkey to the back? What was that bullshit? I'm so confused. Uh-oh. As long as it didn't target the same enemy. Oh, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And she's nearly full. I think the biggest thing that I'm worried about... Wait, does Tlaloc have Invuln Pierce? She's got Sure Hit. Alright, sweet, we're good. So that means... I can just not use Morgan's MP. Anyone know what the pink ticket is in the JP Christmas event? You talking about the one that makes Santa Carna permanent? The sus imposter that was not like the others has appeared? Yes. Okay, definitely take that. Oh, sweet. There's not another one. I was really beginning to worry for a second there. All right, she's about to NP. Still got 1 stack on her, 3 on her, and 2 on her. I'm more worried about a taunt occurring than anything else. So basically, I'm abusing this for extra additional charge. I'm doing a disjointed sort of like invuln comp sequence here where I don't NP with all of them at the same time because I don't have the MPs available, but I'm just taking the damage while I can. Oh, wait, is that it? Is she not going to actually NP? Omega lol. Man, I was worried for nothing. Hmm. I was going to say, and before full charge. Okay, I don't know what that clock debuff is, but it's terrifying me. We should be good to go here. We'll go ahead and give her the Buster Up. And then we'll basically fire off Let MPs again. Okay. Oh, wow. That didn't do any damage at all. What the fuck? We have another shark, which is perfectly fine because right now I haven't done much of anything. Gonna keep abusing this for extra usage. The real problem is going to occur if I get that MP seal on the wrong turn, which is one of the reasons I need to sit on Merlin's like proper invuln. Oh wow, died from dots. Sweet. Man, couldn't have asked for that to occur better. Let's do it like that. I won't get the guaranteeable crit, but I should get Morgan's arts up at least. Should be effective. There we go. The monkey is still there. I don't know what happened to the monkey. I don't know if the monkey retreated to like another like fight here. All right, so what the fuck is going on with Tez? I'm supposed to destroy the core. Which is the far left. Okay. So I have to actually defeat Tez first. And Tez himself will basically charge to full. So he also has 5 stacks of invuln, which is a massive like middle finger here. But we're basically just gonna go nope. "14 has some really good music for its dungeons and raids." I love 14 in that regard. Like I wish 14 had some more of the amenities of a modern MMO. I also wish 14 would, like, you want to talk about a game that has spaghetti code? 14 has spaghetti code. Oh my god. Like, at this point, I feel like they would be better off just making a new MMO. But I think they're like, man, we basically struck gold. We can't ruin this. Let's not try to like waste all these time and resources into coming out with a new thing, right? Wow, that did fuck all. What the shit? That is not gonna do a whole lot. Go ahead and give her the NP gain on herself. Merlin has an entire brave chain here. But I think we go like this. None of these will actually crit. But we basically just got to whittle his stacks down. Damage what damage says the enemy core. I want you to read that sentence out loud. Oh. The Tez is going to NP. This is spicy. Because Tez does have Invuln Pierce. And Tez is on the middle. The core got the vulnerability stack just now. Oh, did I actually like break Tez's bar there and didn't realize it because it went back to full or something? I don't think it did. I wish that you could like re-up with a more powerful instance of an NP. I really wish that was a thing. Because this is like the perfectly wrong turn for Tez to have his NP, and I don't have any way of stopping him. I have to like pray to God that they don't hit Morgan here. I should be okay though. I hope. So I can pop Castoria as first skill, but I probably do not need it. Wait, how many stacks does he have? Got just the one? Okay, that'll get eaten by that. We'll do that, and then that. Oh. God, they keep debating me. These are like shadow servants. Where like their NP is not an actual NP. That's such a like stupid thing, I swear. That shit just bothers me to no end. Because I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna NP me with an AoE NP that has info and pierce. Doesn't do it. Be nice if the system allowed for the highest level of an interaction to take priority. Yeah. That would likely mess with buff stacking. I mean, it would to an extent, but this is why we have things like stackable guts, and now there's even a couple instances of like a stackable evasion. So like, I would really like to see them actually allow for it. I think where it would really be good is Scotty. I think it would actually tangibly benefit Scotty. I think Scotty, like OG Scotty not having stackable evasion is like the most stupid thing I've ever seen. Why are we having the December 23rd maintenance? They're likely going to come out with a campaign, because again, that means the campaign will start on the 24th, of which the 24th to the 31st is exactly 7 days, right? So like that's like, yeah, they're gonna run something pre-New Year's. Is it gonna be an event? No. 1 week Evo Fest? I mean, maybe. I don't know. We've had people theorize it could be an evocation festival. We've had people theorize it could be like just, you know, some sort of like story related thing. We've had people theorize it could be just a shit throwaway campaign. I'm not sure. Like at this point, just be ready. Like, but nobody really has any idea. I will say, don't expect it to be anything too crazy because it's occurring during a Lotto. So like, especially a Lotto that got shortchanged on the amount of time it has. So like people are not going to be pleased about that in that regard. So I wouldn't expect them to like throw anything too crazy at us. But whatever it was already in the works long before the Lotto itself messed up. Oh boy. 2 stacks there. 3 stacks there, and he's got the taunt, so it's all going to Merlin. This is actually the ideal time to break this guy's bar. So we're just gonna go ahead and full send it with Castoria here. Because again, there's also the benefit of like if I can get Castoria to 200%, I just literally get even more. But you can see, like, I don't have fragment of 2000, 2003 in here, and I had 48 stars, right? So it's like, this is why I don't run, sorry, 2003, 2030. It's why I don't run 2030s on my Merlin or my Castoria usually. Like, I guess if you didn't have a Merlin or a Proto Merlin, wait, hold on, he actually NP'd. What the hell is that game? So I wanted it that turn anyways, because I knew like when you break bar him, he got a full charge, but like what the actual so we got one more turn on this. I'm taunted. Otherwise, he himself gets a singular stack. Okay, that's really odd. think it's that one. See if I can card that thing to death, but I don't think I can. Maybe. Yeah. There I go, doubting. It's that triple defense that thing had, though. Was what was worrying me. There we go. We got Castoria to 200%. What was that? I don't know what that was. That was terrifying. Either way, firing my laser and hopefully killing the archer at least, because I don't want an archer in there since it's got a 3 charge NP. And it looks like we've got party charge shenanigans going on, and I didn't kill it. Oh well, if it taunts, I'll kill it anyway, so. The last bar he does MP, yeah. And that's fine. Like, it was really weird that it jebaited me with him not NPing, and then he did. Okay. You specifically MP sealed Merlin. Alright. You also drained him, which does fuck all. Oh, 30k. That's... That healing is the problem. I think I strike while the iron is hot. Wow, that 10% critted? I guess it became 30%, but like, holy crap. That was still lucky. Yeah, these defense ups are getting kind of nutty. Hopefully that... Oh, no, that might go left. Well... It shouldn't. Well... This is a auto-replenishing battle, so... Go back to him. 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 Go back... You've got to be freaking kidding me, man. Oh, that is so annoying on so many levels. Like, the whole reason I was doing that way was to try and like wipe out the middle enemy and the right enemy, but like, yeah, fuck it. I'ma just switch who I'm targeting there and kill Tez. Tez is definitely the higher value target with him having an NP ready already. And kill the other one on the next turn if I have to. And Castoria should be able to crit him fairly hard. The real problem is, again, he has so many stacked defenses right now. Like, I think that's why he's just so freaking tanky. Wait, what? Oh, they all have taunt. Oh, that's so. Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. Man, that is so annoying. I should have popped the Mystic Code. I could have like pre-carded or something. Like, it's fine. That's just tilting. Okay. So this is a safer bet. And we're just gonna card his ass. Be gone! Right now I should actually be able to start dealing damage to this sucker. This is a long CQ. This is kind of a dickish one to put in a Lotto. Long CQ during Lotto badge. I mean, like, I don't mind a CQ taking a little bit of time, but like, this is an actually long one, right? A lot harder than Karna's. Yeah, I mean, like, we've had a couple like CQs and Lottos that took a while, like, and I'm not talking about like the exhibition quests, right? Like, it's just like normally I feel like at most they're like a 20 turn, and we're already on 27 turns, right? And like even 20 turns is like you're probably looking at like a half-hour affair at that point. Unless you could do the turns faster than a minute each. Which is difficult when you consider the back and forth of both sides and any amount of thought going into your turn. I should just be able to card him out, but then there's that sucker. Yeah, that'll work. Ah, it taunted. Of course it taunted. Oh, the monkey's back. You know, I'm very lucky that there hasn't been a shark. Very lucky. Castoria will get to her NP naturally because she has the MLB Prisma. We are still protected for this turn. This is literally just a full send. All right, so hopefully my next MP kills. Like, he's just starting to take, like, absurd damage now. So I'm taunted. Of course I'm taunted. Why wouldn't I be taunted? If I weren't taunted, I would have just full sent that with the Morgan Buster chain there. Monkey power. Ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang walla walla bing bang. Your team is not exactly designed to clear it fast. Oh, you're definitely not wrong. I'm just saying, by any metric, you could say that this is a long CQ. Like, even if I took a speed clear, chat, this is not 3 turnable, right? Like, you're not like, oh man, I'm gonna get done with this CQ really fast. Like, you literally have a butt ton of enemies and waves to clear through. So like, yeah, it's just a thing. Oh, whoops, that was the wrong one, but whatever. I am not taunted this turn. There is a shark, but we are going to murder LeBonk. LeBonk. Please go to the end. Oh, that just killed everything else. Sweet. Yeah, you're supposed to kill the core by killing Tez. I guess if you had a single target, you might have been able to like overpower it in one shot, but like, fuck that. Fuck that. That was safe. That worked. There's a guy who cleared this in 7 turns. Crazy people. Oh yeah, I'm sure. But like, what's crazy about that isn't that he cleared it in 7 turns. What's crazy about that is he probably spent hours trying to get that 7 turn, right? Like, that's what's actually crazy. And again, some people live for CQs. I'm just not one of them. Like, I like CQs, but when it's in the middle of a lotto, again, my priority is the lotto. Always has been, always will be. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's logical to me. Let's turn back on that. There we go. Life of a min turner, yep. Pick your lotto comp, see if you can swap Mash for a 1-star. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I can literally tell you in the node whether or not that's even something I can do. And I'm going to tell you the answer is already probably no. And the reason why is because I'm taking all Lotto Cs, and I have all 5 stars for every single other person. So the most I can fit in my backline is Mash and a 2-star. And I believe the 2-star that I already saw right there when we were going into the node was, oh shit, 2-star Berserker chick. What's her name? Yep, there you go. So no, I cannot remove her. Salome, thank you. Salami. 1-star is 3 cost, yes. Yeah, I'm snug. I think I have like 1 point extra of space in this comp. Careless whisper. Oh, whoops. Sorry, wrong line. Max cost is 115. Yeah. Is it 112? Is it? Hold on. Let me double check as we end this. But that should be the maximum. I feel like I'm being gaslit. I feel like I actually have 114 party cost right now. But maybe I'm wrong. Is Saba still the Buster King? Well, let me show you. Yep. Does Salter outdamage Saber now? Yeah, by virtue of her being able to touch Black Grail, right? Like, in this scenario, it's probably a little bit more debatable. I can. Interesting. Fuck. Maybe I'm too used to thinking about an A. I don't know. I shouldn't be able to fit a 3-star. Because a 3-star should be 7 cost, which should be 2. Huh? I feel like everything I know is a lie. What? We're gonna take the rare exclusive man that don't get no coins. Doubting chat be like, oh, listen, I'm less surprised about being able to fit a 1-star into that composition and more surprised about being able to fit a 3-star into this composition. I don't know why my math is off in my head. It's better this way. We'd hurt each other with the things we want to say. Chat is never wrong? No. Chat is definitely wrong. Quite a bit. I feel like I prove chat wrong all the time, but chat also proves me wrong all the time, so it's a give and take relationship. Because I also feel like, and this is something that I've always tried to do on this channel, is I don't normally try to like hold myself above you guys. I don't go like, oh, I'm so much smarter than you guys. You have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I usually can speak from a point of experience, but generally I will humor your argument no matter what your take is. That's usually like, because, and I've said this before, but it's entirely possible that there's things that I don't know about this game. This has always been the case, and that will probably never change. There's always probably going to be something about this game that I don't know. That being said, I know most of the shit about this game, or have heard it at some point before. Therefore, chat can be wrong quite frequently on things that, like, for instance, if it's something that occurred before the player in chat, like, was playing the game, that's a thing. If it was something where, like, it's changed since chat's realized, like, so for instance, a lot of people still have like mental blocks on certain concepts where they think like, you know, like thing A is better than thing B, or you know, like unit A is better than unit B, and they like completely have forgotten about an upgrade. The same can also be true of me, though. There's like 400 units in the game. You guys note, if there's anything I struggle with nowadays, it's remembering a unit's name. Why? I don't know. I was talking to Avalon about this before stream, but it's like I struggle to remember units' names nowadays. Does that mean I have like amnesia? No, it just means there's that many units. Because what I do remember is the unit's kit most of the time. Like, that's what I commit to memory more than the freaking name of the unit, which is wild, but like it happens. So it's like I could definitely be wrong on quite a bit of stuff, but those are usually like the areas where I notice like chat is wrong. Is if you're talking about something that it's like, oh, this was kind of like beyond your experience type thing. And it's like, I don't know. I don't go like, ha, chat, you fucking idiots, you got it wrong. Unless chat was like super insistent that I was wrong and then I was in fact correct. Like if chat started getting uppity with me, then yeah, then I'll rub it in chat's face. But normally I don't. Normally I'm just like, oh, you got it wrong? That's perfectly fine. Like, and here's why. Like I am more than happy to explain any sort of mechanic that somebody doesn't understand without like making them feel bad. Because I this just happens, and I wish like more people would do this in like video gaming communities. Is like, oh, you don't know this? Why don't you know that? That's the like usual reaction, where instead it should be like, oh, you don't know this? Here, let me show you. Let me explain it to you. But it's really weird because that's often not the case, and I don't know why. I assume it's like people just want to like flex for some reason, right? I can do 501 boxes in a Lotto, way better than CAD. How do you like these boxes? Oh, I mean, I've had people in chat that have done like 1,000. Like I said, and I don't want to like insult anyone that has done 1,000. It's just usually I'm of the opinion that if you're doing 1,000, you have either gaslit yourself into doing 1,000, or you're doing it for EPing reasons, right? Like, is it possible to do that number? Absolutely. Absolutely. Should you? Probably not. Right? Like, that's why I say that sort of thing. So it's like, a lot of the times people will convince themselves that like, oh, I need to do 1,000. But the reality is like, you're not actually going to be able to use that much of that 1,000. So it's like the EPing over like boxes, like, again, I've told you guys, like, here's why I do 500 boxes. I have always done this amount, and I pretty much always do this amount. In fact, the Lotto that just ran on NA, the Morganfest Lotto, is the first time I have not done 300 boxes. Sorry, 500 boxes. I did 300. It's the first time I've not done 500 boxes in a Lotto on NA since year one. And even then, there's only ever been one other Lotto that I didn't. Which is kind of wild. But like I said, like, I don't do that for the flex. I think some people probably assume that I do, but the reality is I usually do it for like account resources more than anything. And that's why, like, again, I feel like I've proven this at this point, but it's like, what do you do when you hit 500? I just stop. Like 500 is my goal. I don't keep going. If like my entire goal was to like flex with it, I would keep going, but I don't. Fingers. There we go. The only thing I have to do with this comp is because I can low roll still here, even with a 120 and a level 100 CE. I have to pay attention to the Artoria cards in the final wave. So this is a low roll, by the way. So like, for instance, I need a Artoria card. Boom, there you go. So like, that's the only thing is I just have to make sure I have like a buster crit there. And if I have a buster crit, it'll automatically kill. I can still clear even if I don't have an Artoria card, but it usually means then I have to pay attention and I have to like load up all the all the star skills in order to make like Oberon or Korean Sky a kill. This is also why not to call him out, but I have one friend on my friends list that has an esports variant of the meta support here, and I cannot use that unit because if I have to rely on the cards, it will fail. Bima survived? He will. Bima will survive probably like 60% of the time, if not more. And the reason for that is because just like Artoria's max rolls will clear Bima, but she needs like, again, I think it's like the upper like 30% or 40% of her NP will clear. The lower 60% will not. So you can just expect to see him live more often than not. I've also figured out that I can do 2 Artoria Buster crits here and it'll kill. There's also scenarios where I don't need a second crit, but it usually requires one of the card's performance to be abnormally large. And I've not figured out why that is. I think it's just random card variants with this many crit modifiers. So for instance, I have 3 Artoria cards this turn, which meant that I had to pop an extra skill there. Why? I needed enough to get a guaranteeable crit. Will they release Korean Banner during reset? I believe it comes out tonight. At least that's what someone in chat said. I have not checked myself. Who does something like that during a lotto? It's not about like trying to like shit someone's stuff down the toilet, like trying to screw someone's comp or anything like that. Though that being said, I do wish that so for instance, I think probably a bigger pet peeve of mine at this point, and it's like I don't actually care if chat does this. Like I straight up will just it's no skin off my back. I'll just go around it. But like it's people like loading out their entire support list with Lotto Cs such that like I start seeing like other units that there's just no way in hell that I would take to the node. And like there's just no way anyone would take them to the node. And then it's like, oh, they're there and you can accidentally pick them up. And I have had that happen where like 1 or 2 times I've taken the wrong unit to a node. So that's a pet peeve of mine where I just go like, I don't know why people don't just like, again, not put the like the big like MLB Lotto CE on those units. You could put like literally any other CE and I wouldn't care. But when you put that CE, I can't filter it out and I'm stuck like having to shuffle by it every time. That's probably me. There's plenty. But like I said, I'm not trying to like call anyone in particular out, but there's like, that is a minor annoyance I have to deal with. Whereas like the one good part about the 90 plus comp that I was doing is I didn't have to rely on anyone's support. So I could just like go to like the all section, just pick whoever the hell's there. Like it didn't matter as long as they had an MLBC. Does Google come, when does she come out on an A? So she'll come out like basically end of January. It may be a little bit sooner because they're probably going to crunch that like middle time period some for an A. Because I believe that's how they did it on like Korea and stuff. But you can expect her. She's going to come basically with part 2 of Lost Belt 7. Is Maputofu Man aka Kyrie worth rolling on? Yeah, I think he's good. He's not going to be like the most meta damage unit or anything like that, but he's really fun to use in CQs. He's basically, so you know like necro memes, like the necromancy CE? He's that personified as a unit, which is funny. I can afford to pull for my first Korean Sky. Go for it. I basically only put Lotto C's on supports, or yeah, I'll occasionally put them on a like really high octane damage unit. Like if you had a really powerful berserker, for instance, for this node, a saber. Like if I were to put mine on my 120 saber, that would be something. But admittedly, I would not expect anyone to take her still. But I think like that would be more okay than like, for instance, and like I'm gonna use this example because it's safe, because I know this person does not play JP. But let's say it were like Prophet, and Prophet had like his Koyanskaya. And then let's say Prophet decided to put also the MLBC on his like Grailed Cleopatra. I'm not going to take the Grailed Cleopatra to this node. So it's of no benefit to me. Now, in a weird scenario, we could denote the fact that, like, well, technically the prior node, the 90 plus node, is Berserkers. So I guess anything goes for that. But in general, I feel like, you know, the vast majority of people are not going to take certain units, right? Also, we just got some half AP Ember Gathering. Yes. Was Vlad the first unit that had a stackable guts? I believe so. I believe he was the first person that got updated with it. Because I want to say Tyra has it as well. But I think she came out after the Vlad buff. If I remember correctly. Wasn't Herc the first one with triple guts? Trying to remember the timing of all this, because Hurt got it with the 5th anniversary update. Yeah, I know it's his guts, or his Bonsi. Galte, I believe is stackable guts. I believe she does too. Yeah, admittedly, you guys are making me doubt myself, so I don't know if someone wants to do the legwork on that and go check to see who was first. Go for it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Hurt got it at 5th Annie. Vlad got it in an upgrade. Who was the other one we mentioned? Galatea, yeah. I think Galatea just came with it. Unless I'm misremembering. Hello, Mr. Ventos. How's it going? Vlad was during the APOC rerun. Was that before Annie 5? I just don't remember. Like, that's the timing of things there. It's like that's all turning to mush in my brain. But hello, Mr. Ventos. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. We are grinding the JP Lotto, doing the 90 plus plus node, and I'm finessing it with my 120 unit. That should not otherwise be possible. I think it was, yeah. Like, I just don't remember if like which came first. It's a chicken and egg scenario, right? Because I feel like I remember we were all amazed that her got that. Somebody can't get you on Santa's nice list. Ah, indeed. Thank you, Ventos. Appreciate it, guys. If you've never checked out Mr. Ventos, go do so. A good buddy of mine. Basically, a fantastic FGO streamer and a Phantom extraordinaire, as he loves to use Phantom of the Opera. If you have any questions about how to use Phantom, he's the guy to go to. Wiki says March 2020, so that'd be before 5th Annie. Yeah. Like I said, my instinct was that Vlad was first, but I don't remember. Well, if Galatea came out with it, she should be before that. So Galatea would be first then. Because I think it would Galatea, Vlad buff, 5th Annie. right? I think that's the order. Unless Galatea's was also from above? I don't... Now I'm beginning to second guess myself again. Oh, we finally have to NP this wave. I've been very lucky. I keep getting two Artoria cards in this turn. They immediately obsoleted her with Vlad buff. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't say obsoleted. I would just say like Galatea had the big issue of like her like primarily Buster centric kit, right? Like so that was, or sorry, deck, not kit. So that was always like her big problem going in, was that she had that, and like it made her not as fluid for like carding purposes as someone like Vlad was. She definitely had the damage edge on him, at least until the buff that Vlad got. But basically that kind of took it away from her. Only in my dreams. Have you been, Ventos? You got any Christmas plans? Should we expect New Year's buffs? I don't think that's crazy. I wouldn't expect like, you know, like a huge like litany of them, but like if they maybe wanted to do one or two, that wouldn't be the craziest thing. JP has been on this like kick now of like doing a lot of buffs. Again, I'll give them the credit for doing it, but like I told Avalon earlier today, they could probably do 200 straight days of like one buff a day, and you would still have at the end of 200 days units that need buffs. So like it's I'm definitely happy they're doing it. I'm not going to look the gift horse in the mouth. They just need to keep doing it. Am I going to roll for next on an A? It's quite literally going to be Sussy Priest. JP, I have no clue. My JP is hoarding at this point. I didn't roll Lohi. And more interludes? I'm really surprised they have not done interludes, because again, I've heard basically that they have quite a few of like the writers on hand. Like supposedly they have a ton of writers and a ton of artists, and their issue is that they don't have the actual like game dev staff. But like, I don't know, they don't come out with story very often, it seems. But that may be because they don't have the game dev staff to implement the story, right? So like that could be a thing. I don't know. Would I roll Richard? Maybe. It's definitely something I'd think about. Galatea still really good in challenge content. Oh yeah, I mean like a lot of people I feel like take Galatea for granted. Like I said, her biggest issue was her deck, but they largely resolved that when they gave her the upgrade that allowed her to get charge every single time she uses one of her buster cards. So like to me, you know, I'm not going to say that that's like a perfect solution, just that like, yeah, she's in a much better spot thanks to that. So I find that she still has a really, really good kit. And I think a lot of people overlook some of that. Like, remember, she's literally a squishy ass berserker that has 100% defense up. That's nice, right? Like that's going to make her very hard to kill in certain scenarios, especially if you play your cards right. So like, I don't know. I think like, yeah, the damage is not altogether there, but like she could still be a very, very valuable unit. You'll be giving them passing marks in the buff department for your annual review. Well, that depends. Can I take that off the list, or is that going to be like a thing like for the next year? I think the answer is it's still going to be a thing for the next year. So do I give them passing? I think I give them passing, but I don't think I can like take it away, right? It's like, okay, you did good. Now keep it up. They've definitely done more buffs this year than they did last year, but like, so chat, saying that like FGO did anything better this year on JP compared to the last year is like making the claim of like, okay, anything is better than a turd. Because I can't emphasize that enough, like how bad last year was from like every metric. Right, like everything that you could evaluate them on was just down, and I don't know why. It was just a really weird like thing. It's like behind the scenes they must have just been really struggling. The roster is not getting smaller, yeah. I just roast them for the 9th Annie during the year review for an hour straight. No, I don't need to do that. I I already got like completely vindicated. Like all of my takes on like servant coins, appends, everything. I've been completely validated in all of them. Like again, I had people telling me that I was insane. So like I had people telling me like there's no way that's ever gonna happen. You're coping, like blah 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 blah. It all happened. So like it's not the way I wanted it to happen, but it all happened. And I already gave them enough crap basically when they when they did Annie 9. So I think at this point, let it be. They've adjusted, they've resolved all of those issues, they've made the changes now and implemented everything they said they would. I think the game's in a much better state for it. So at this point, I'm just more looking forward to like Annie 10, right? Like I think it goes without saying. It's like, yeah, don't do that again. It's inviting a lot of negativity. Yeah, I have enough things to be negative about with this game. I love this game, but you guys know, like I if anything, I want to be on the more positive end because it's so easy to be negative about stuff right now. It's not like, oh man, the game is like in an unplayable state or anything like that. It's more like over time, I think like we've begun to expect them to do certain things, and that's where they've been like dropping the balls. Like they've been failing to kind of do their usual stuff. That's kind of a lot of what like year 8 really was like them not upholding their end of the deal to many degrees. But I think like overall, like year 9 has been, they've kind of turned that around. And I think the major blip that they had was Annie 9. And I think Annie 9 probably wasn't on them. I think that was probably like, I don't know, like Aniplex or Sony or someone behind the scenes was like, we want more money. So, like I said, I think a lot of people look at the append situation and the coin situation and they say, oh, those fixes that they were coming out with after Annie 9, that was just due to pressure. They didn't plan any of that. That was just them reacting. And I go, there is no way they came out with the perfect, measured, even solution within 2 days for each of those issues. There's just no way. That had to already have been planned. So it tells me that like they put the cart before the horse, right? Like if here is your horse, chat, and here is your cart, they did this, and then they tried to pretend like they didn't know what happened. And I think it's because like that's all they could do. But I think the reality was they already had the horse. The horse was already there. It just needed to be hooked up to the cart. And they just hadn't hooked it up. Nine is somewhat of a return to form. Yeah. They need to keep returning to form. I've said this before, but like, and I know this is like, in a weird way, this is a weird mindset to have, but they need to return back to the quote, golden era of year 3. Year 3 is when the game was like firing on all cylinders, and it was peak in year 3. So, and I'm not talking about like any individual story or anything like that, just like the sheer amount of content we got, the sheer amount of like good stuff that was happening with the game. It was absolutely like the zenith for FGO. So to me, we've been kind of going downhill ever since, and 8 was our low point. Like I'm not gonna say it was like a like total downhill slope. It's more like downhill like this, right? But 8 was like boom, and now 9 is like this. So like we're kind of like on the way back to where we should be, but like I don't know what the hell happened to 8. Like if this was 3, right? Like basically, and like back over here is like year 1. Like this was 8. 8 was just really, really fucking bad. And I think the only year worse than year 8 was the short year at the beginning of the launch of the game. Period. Which is pretty bad by all standards. It's incredibly easy to be negative towards something that doesn't give you the desired outcome. Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely understand that. People play FGO not only to enjoy the story, but to complain. I wouldn't say people play to complain, right? Like, I do think, though, there is where a lot of complaining probably comes from is it probably comes from a desire for the thing that they love to be better, right? Like, people are complaining because they care. But I think there is a point where people tip over into the toxic end of it and they don't realize that they have. They're not self-aware, cognizant enough of the arguments that they're making, and they shit on things just to shit on things. And I think that's a sign that they're kind of on their way out. It's usually a sign that they're dissatisfied with the current state of the game. They wish for the game to be better, but the game is not ever going to appease someone like them, and they're dooming themselves. So it's just a matter of time, and it's just like, how long are they going to sit there and keep being super toxic and not just like finally decide to like either quit the game entirely and never play another gacha ever again, or like go off to some other gacha that's out there, right? Because I think that's definitely what I've seen over the years, is like so many people that like used to play FGO just are off playing other gachas now. And I don't know if that's like a sign that they're just gacha addicts, or like that they just, you know, they didn't like the state of FGO and the other game is doing it better. I don't know. Mr. T looks in physical pain announcing it, and I can't unsee it. I don't know that he's in physical pain, but I think he did know it was going to be touchy, right? Like, I think he was hopeful that like the player community would like be okay with it, but I think he, like, the second he saw the reaction, I think he went into total like emergency mode. He knew it was not going the way that they had hoped. Okay, so this is a scenario where like it is actually possible for me to still be able to pull this off with one card. It's just unlikely. So I got a lucky crit there. So this probably, oh, it still didn't. I got a bad result on the Buster card there. The toxic end of it is what we've been experiencing lately over the last 2 years. I mean, I don't know. Like just because people are complaining doesn't mean they're being toxic, right? It's where people are complaining and they're just shitting on things to shit on things. They're not providing, you know, like constructive feedback. Like, if I'm going to complain to you guys about something in the game, I'm going to tell you why that is the way that is and what I think they need to do to fix it. Why? Because I'm trying to provide constructive feedback. Why? Because I care about the game. Because I want the game to get better, right? So, like, I think that's where a lot of that comes from. Is you can tell if someone's actually caring about the game and just upset versus somebody that's just like, I don't know, being a troll or being toxic because they're just tilted. I started FGO this year in July. Hey, good for you. Welcome to the game. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, like, I don't think this game's going anywhere anytime soon, but I have myself, and you know, VIP knows this, I have privately, and you know, certainly to a degree publicly as well on stream, but I try not to mention this too much, but I have privately mentioned my dissatisfaction with the way the game is being run. And the fact that it does feel like the developers in certain ways are not doing things that they need to do to allow this game to succeed. It feels more like the game is being milked at times rather than, hey, we're trying to grow the brand. Hey, we're trying to make the game better. Hey, we're trying to get new players in. That is what it feels like at times to me. And that's not a good feeling. Trust me. But so it's like, that's where a lot of my you know, aggravation with the game will come from, is that sentiment. So I'm always looking for ways that I can like try to provide good feedback for them so that hopefully somewhere, somehow they see it. Even if it's not through me, even if it's through like someone else that like watched me but plays more actively on the JP side and is a fluent JP speaker and then goes into their survey and puts it in, and they have that good idea and the devs read that and they go like, sugoi, oh my god, that is amazing, let me enact this you know, feedback. Cool. At that point then, in some weird manner of speaking, I have somehow benefited the game in a positive way. So I don't know if that will ever happen, but that's always like my hope, is that the game improves and not, you know, gets worse. It's kind of obvious if someone's being toxic. Yeah, I agree. They could have been easily adding main interludes of older events every few months. See, I think the issue right there with that statement is they could have easily part. Could they have done that? Yes. Would it have been easy for them to do? I don't know. I'm going to bet no. And the reason I'm going to bet no is because they're not doing it. And because, if anything, we seem to have some indication that they have staffing issues. How, why, when, where, I don't know. I don't have those answers. Why? Because I'm not, a fly on the wall of Delightworks / Lasengle, right? So at that point, I just have to assume that they're doing their best with the limited resources that they have, which is a wild statement considering this game used to be the world's most profitable game at one point. So, and it's still very much profitable, right? So, like, assuming that it has, quote, limited resources is like, right? But it is. I assume that's the case in some way, shape, or form. It's probably just the case of, like, behind the scenes, like Aniplex or Sony, whoever's like actually making the monetary decisions for the game, is not providing them with enough funding or staffing in some way. Like, basically just not supporting it properly. Is Oberon mega huge important to in-game content? You can do every single piece of content without Oberon. Oberon just makes it way freaking easier. Oberon is the best damage amplifier in the entire game. I think there's technically an exception, like there's other units that can exceed him, but they're very like niche in how they can do that. Like, for instance, like Martha Santa, who can basically have like really good modifiers on her NP, but one, you have to get her to the NP to do that, and two, you have to be facing the right amount of units, or sorry, the right type of units for that to be a thing. So it's like, in that regard, yes, he's just like all-rounder, the best damage amplifier in the entire game. But do you have to have him? No. Should you probably get him? My advice would be to probably get him. I think it comes down to the, like, is there somebody that you need more, like a Castoria or a Koyanskaya? I'm going to tell you, if you're debating between like Koyanskaya and Oberon, my scales still tilt to Oberon, because Oberon works with every card type rather than just Buster. He's best with Buster, but he works with every card type. Whereas Koyan primarily is Buster. Like there's, I guess you could use her outside of Buster, you just probably don't want to. I don't get why such a profit made, they choose not to improve it. It's really weird to me, and I can only assume it's because, like, behind the scenes, they see sales numbers, and they go like, well, we're still making money, even though we're not really improving the game. That's like typical corporate decision-making, where it's like, we have a cash cow, it's making us money. Let's take all the money that we're getting from that, we'll reinvest like 5% of it over here, but then like the rest of it's coming over here. When the reality is like the difference between investing 5% and even like 10% might be like exponential growth, right? Like, they just don't know that because they're not doing it, and it's difficult for them to be able to tell. So like, they may be making poor assumptions about the game. They may be going like, oh, the game is old, therefore it's less likely to make money, so it's not a good time to invest in the game. When the reality may be, like, if they invested in it more, they would have like a generational game that actually like did go crazy. So like, it's really difficult to tell, and a lot of the times it may just be the suits that are kind of making the decision, and you don't know like what assumptions they have and whether or not those assumptions are correct. I got crazy lucky with Koyan and Castoria. Took me for a ride. Oberon seems like he's going to Castoria me if I chase him. I'd still go after him. Why they won't give them money to hire more programmers? I honestly, like, it's not even the programming department I think that needs it the most. From everything we hear, it's the animation department. The animation department supposedly is the least staffed. Like, and you know this because if you ever, whoops, not that way. If you ever see like the lead animation guy get up on stage in any of the JP streams, he always looks like he's like got a foot in death's door. Like, he's got bags under the eyes. He's like, and like, maybe that's just his personality, but like, man. Pushing 40 manga chapters into 10 animators. Oh yeah, no, it's just like, it makes sense to me, and a lot of the signs seem to point to it because, for instance, anecdotally, where JP has been late to release content, that is to say, they have had a delay and the content was not ready, it is almost always the animations that are stated to be the reason for why it is late. So it tells me like that department is the department that is just like the most pushed. Also, the single employee meme from the tour, yeah. He's one bad day short of being isekai'd via the overwork method. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like Gil from Babylonia, where he just dies from overwork, right? Like, yeah, that is what it feels like. But that's and you know, I've had people before ask me like, well, why can't they just hire more animators, right? Like surely that's a thing, and I'm like, I mean, to a degree it is, but I also assume like it depends on what type of animator you're talking about. It's probably quite easy to find 3D animators. That's a relatively common skill set. 3D animators with Unity? Okay, now you're getting a bit rare. Sprite animators with Unity? Oh, now you're getting really rare. So like, yes, you can probably teach someone. Yes, there is overlap in the like disciplines, but yeah, I can assume that there probably are things that they have a hard time actually like getting another person for. Looks like Tagasuki releasing unfinished animations on launch. Yeah, like LB7 was delayed because of the animations. Trying to remember when there was another one that happened. I know LB4 got delayed. I don't remember if they stated why. I'm pretty sure the next 3 SSRs are arts loopers too, so Oberon would have more value if you wanted any of those. The next 3 SSRs are arts loopers. You mean like the next 3 new units that are SSRs? Because no, there's definitely one that isn't. Okay, wait. I guess it depends on whether or not you're assuming Tez comes before Cuckoo or not. So in that case, you may be right. But yeah, the 4th unit is a Buster AoE, so. Let's go ahead and swap this anyways. I normally do the swap here in Wave 2 just because it is like I have to do so much already in Wave 2, so it's less I have to do in Wave 3. Cuckoo? Yeah, Cuckoo's the AoE buster. I thought Mothman was going to be another one I had to roll on at a later point, but got a lucky multi-spin. It's so nice when, like, you just... And again, this is one of the things I think, you know, whenever we talk about, like, gacha systems and stuff, people really just don't give any sort of, like, credit to FGO for. Like, FGO, yeah, you can just YOLO pull a unit, and it's so nice when you do. It saves you so much fucking money. Like... Or again, currency if you're just a free-to-play person. But, like, I think a lot of people have a tendency to only remember, like, when they have a bad run of things, like when they didn't get the unit they want. They don't remember when they lot-sacked the unit that they did want. And I know you can do this in, like, you know, like, for instance, the quote-unquote Genshin system that Genshin and several other games use now. Like, yes, you can still, like, YOLO pull someone. It's just exceedingly rare to do it. Whereas, like, in FGO, it's still, like, got a okay chance that raid is not monkeyed with really in any way, shape, or form. And it's just consistent throughout. So, like, that's definitely one of the nice aspects to it. Have they ever done a free SSR CE ticket other than the one we already got? No. We've only had the one. If we go past Cuckoo, 4 of the 5 next new SSRs are Arts Loopers, Kirei, Nito, Tez, Johanna next to Cuckoo. I mean, sure. What's the unit that's after you, Hana? I'm forgetting. It's AoE quick, right? It's Takasugi. What the heck is that? All right, so this 60% may fail. Let's see if it does. Oh, nope, didn't matter. We kill anyways. And see, the whole reason why I'll card that wave, it's just faster. It results in less button presses here on this as well. Oh, I didn't need to press that, actually. The best Buster Looper ever. The best Buster Looper ever, I don't know. She's certainly good. She's naturally going to get held back by the fact that she's alter ego, but like alter ego with her performance in it, it's just still freaking nuts. Like, I don't know what they were doing when they thought that like that was an okay kit. It's almost like, and I swear to God, this is something that they do, is like they design the units in a vacuum. And they just like, it feels like to me like they totally assume that nobody has MLB Black Grail. And you're like, really? Because like you do it and then it's just like, oh wow, hey, this unit actually just overpowers quite literally everybody else. And it's almost like the devs put on the like shocked Pikachu face, like, we didn't think of that. And it's like, what do you mean you didn't think about that? Like, what? Like, I understand they want like a unit like Tiamat, for instance, to be strong, but it's like, good lord. That was not smart. You should not have done that. Oh, whoops. There we go. I think it's just favoritism. It may be. It may very well be. They have said before that like they definitely design certain units to be strong. I'm gonna be real with y'all. That's a very like shitty idea when you've got a gacha game that, you know, at this point the power creep has become pretty strong in. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like Fire Emblem Heroes level of power creep, but it's like they have definitely had like two really big like power creep issues where like the performance of units just tipped the scales, and one of them was definitely Oberon. So like with Oberon's capabilities and how much like he can amplify damage and the fact that he provides the most charge in the game for a support, it's like I don't know what they were thinking was going to happen with that one. It's like they literally opened Pandora's box and they were like, shit, what do we do about it? And then their response has simply been to like make units stronger. I'm like, no, if anything, that should have been your sign to like not do that. Like, don't make them strong. I love my overkill unit. Yeah. The power creep doesn't sting as hard. It's definitely like, you know, I've had people before being like, oh, does it even matter, right? And I'm like, it does. It's just not in the way that most people think. Because it's like, yeah, there is no PvP, so who the fuck cares, right? Well, actually, every single one of you cares. Usually, to some degree. And the way in which you care is usually you care about the performance of a unit. And if you think that a unit is not that good, you probably don't roll on them. So therein lies the problem. How do people determine whether or not a unit is good? And the answer is usually their damage performance. Damage is not everything in this game, but the community has itself put a high value on damage performance. So when you have something like that going on, then naturally people gravitate towards just kind of obsessing over the numbers. And when you have a unit that like is popping off super hard and outperforming the rest of the class and putting them all to shame, oh my god, it's a shocker. Nobody rolls for the other units as much. Like, it's like it literally impacts their banner performance because of the power creep. So it's like it's a long path to get there, but that is how it works. Like, basically the community's reaction is such that they don't roll for the units that are considered to be lesser. In, whether or not that assessment is fair, I don't think necessarily matters, because regardless of whether or not it's fair, it's occurring. And it definitely does impact banner performance. 90 plus plus, I do care. Yep. And I think that's the other aspect, is the developers have kind of tried to like shove us more to NP levels and stuff mattering. So when you're trying to do more with less, when you're trying to like not have to roll additional MP levels, you're going to naturally seek the strongest units. Now, I think we could talk long and hard about whether or not 90 plus plus is required, but that's definitely a thing, right? Like, so at the end of the day, I think they have set up the environment and the structure for that. And the reality is, it's like they're sitting there making these power creep units to justify them so that people roll for them. And then they're like, on the flip side, going like, wait, why isn't this unit selling as well? And they don't understand why. And it's like, it's because you haven't buffed them usually. Ooh, okay, so we didn't get a crit on the first card, but it's still killed. Like I said, the card RNG on this can be weird. And it's why you'll see me go for it sometimes, even when it's not a guaranteeable crit. Oh my god. Game. There we go. You think 90 star will be added to events? No, not regularly. New servant Pandora, 2 times arts or buster or quick, but kills the unit at the end of the turn. I mean, the problem with that sort of thing is, we've already talked about this before, but it's like, take a look at Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun's a really, really cool unit. I do like him. I think he has a really interesting kit. However, the biggest issue that Tutankhamun's going to face is like, oh wow, he can kill himself and rotate the party. That's awesome. It is. He's also a 5-star, which means his party cost is exceptionally high, which means that like if you really want to rotate the party for another like high octane damage dealer, you now have party cost issues. So like that's the biggest issue that Tutankhamun faces. It's like, it's not that he's a bad unit. It's like units that kill themselves, you almost don't want them to be 5 stars because of the party cost problem. I tend to want to farm with some units, but they underperform damage-wise often. Yeah, it's like, you guys have seen, I will try to get away with every single unit that I can, but like, for instance, why am I using Artoria right now? Because she's 120, she's NP5, and she works in the node. And she is quite literally the only unit for me that does. And I have a NP5 level 100 Saber as well, that actually has niche damage for this node, and still can't pump the numbers required. So, okay, that's when you realize you might have a problem, right? Like, maybe we need certain things to be revised. Now, again, could I grail the unit to 120 and see? Yes, but we would still have probably really weird effects. Can Mordred not work here? Absolutely not. There'd be no way in hell that Mordred would be able to pull this off, probably. Well, I say that. Actually, yeah, I'm forgetting about Mordred's buff. Mordred probably can, but only if she's like equivalent to my Saber. Like, you would need a really high grailed Mordred for it to actually be able to function. In fact, let me pull that up on the side here just to check one thing. So Mordred's going to suffer from the exact same issue that Artoria does, and that she's Earth. That would be her biggest problem. Also, the nice thing about Artoria is, like, so Mordred has extra, like, crit damage for her buster crits. Mordred doesn't have the ability to turn all of her cards into busters, though. So, like, in a weird way, Mordred would be less consistent critting this down than Artoria. And I know that sounds like really odd because she has the higher crit damage, but that is kind of the truth of the matter. Like, essentially, I'm able to get away with like speed comp here because of Artoria's kit. So could you get away with Mordred? Yes. It might somehow in a weird way be less consistent though. NP2 Mo doesn't kill? Oh, it absolutely doesn't. I'm kind of happy on NP Lotto. I can use Koyan Dark for the max node at least for the next few mins. Wait, on NA or JP? I assume you meant NA instead of NP when you said that. NA, okay, yeah. Yeah, you should be able to. The 90 plus node on JP is actually really nice for Coin of Dark. You could do like double Coin of Dark, and she just like basically anybody that can like double Coin of Dark. RQ, it's a really nice comp for that. I would like to see a Santa Evo Fest post JP Lotto to finish out the year. The issue is, I think a lot of the Santas are already available. Like I know Salter is, and Salter was one of the like really big ones that for a long time people wanted to come back. I think we're missing Nightingale? Question mark? Trying to remember. We are missing Santa, Nemo, and Martha. So they could, but that would be really fast to bring Santa Nemo back. Like he's quite literally, he's the only reason I would doubt that. But they could do it. Like there's nothing stopping them. Sorry, I have like something in my eye. We did get Nightingale? Okay. Yeah, I mean if it's just Santa, Nemo, and Martha, then I doubt they do it. Because again, like I said, Nemo is new, and Martha, I think Martha's another one of those units where they're like, yeah, let's keep her under wraps for a little while because people really want her. Like Martha's a very like difficult to use unit conventionally, but in certain specific farming comps, she's just really fucking cracked, and it's hilarious. She can also be really good in like challenge boosting scenarios where you don't care about an extra NP. Lancer Eris and Kichi Hogan are the only units with no weight altogether coin. Yeah, because Kichi was like what the last welfare. Actually, I think the two of them were the last welfares before the append system came into the game. I think. Fuck it. Send it, bonk it, kill it. Yeah, I know like for a while there I think it's like technically you could have included Da Vinci, but Da Vinci had the rerun for her event. So like that was a thing. Mix was the last, but she had evocation. Yeah, she was actually one of the earliest evocations too. So like it's kind of interesting in that regard. There we go, chat. We have already hit 247. Like the farming is going by swimmingly. So like what is that? That's 410 already. We're literally already like I'm down to 90 boxes. I probably won't be done tomorrow, but that will be the goal. And then like if I have to like limp to the finish, because again, like there's still like 7 days in the event. So like I am way ahead now. Way ahead. But I don't care. I'm still going hard. I don't care. I'm getting it done. We're doing it. Well, it's definitely not 5 days. It should be 6 at worst, I think. Oh, that is a lot of Buster cards for her. I can't even get upset over that. It's like it's such a weird star distribution there. It felt like the game was trying to fuck me and then it bailed me out. So like no complaints. Because whenever I have a single Arteria Buster crit and any other card, it is not guaranteed to clear. It can, but it depends on card variants. So like I'll take it. Kind of hoping Grand Saber will either Be proper history Musashi or something like Roman Arthur. How far into the story are you, JC? You finished Trom? Then you should have seen a hint as to who the potential Grand Saber is. And I'm not going to say anything more on that. The other thing I will say, and again, I don't like talking about the Grands usually because people get in arguments over it constantly, and we get into spoiler territory. But keep in mind that, like, technically, like, basically anyone can be a Grand. It just requires certain, like, things to be fulfilled. Oh, shit. I just double popped. All right, now this is spicy, chat. Now we get hella spicy. So I just popped my mana burst on a turn that I was not supposed to. The good news is I think I'm guaranteed to get Arturia cards on the next turn. The bad news is they're not guaranteed to be Buster cards. Okay, I at least got one Buster. We're going to have to Prage. I don't think this will kill. Topic of Grands and Beasts is so stupid. It's basically the topic here is, so there you go. That's how much damage she leaves on the table. Okay, thank God. Thank God. But yeah, it's just those topics. It definitely feels like Nasu is purposely left open-ended so that he can write whatever stories he wants to. Also, chat. When Oberon goes down, the only one of my meta supports that is not Bond 15 are the Scotties. They're the only ones. And like, normal Scotty is Bond 14, and I think Summer Scotty is like Bond 12. So it's like, fuck! Waiver Reigns, I do have them, I just don't really consider them meta anymore. So it's like, I can still use them, but like, and I've actually, for a long time, I've been on a kick of trying not to use, like, Oberon if I don't have to. Unfortunately, 90++ nodes are balanced around Oberon now. I hate to say it, it's the truth. So it's just a problem. Very next day, gave it away. All right, chat. Let's send you guys over to Mr. Fox. He is doing some Girls Frontline Excomium. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We're probably gonna have another recording for you guys tomorrow, but I gotta sit down and work on it some. So hope to see you guys for that. I will try to get the Abby video out, but no promises. And if not, I probably have another video I can get out. So there's that. But like, anyways, stay tuned to YouTube if you guys haven't already. Again, if you guys haven't ever, check me out on all my other social media like Twitter, join the Discord. We're always happy to have you there. And again, go give Fox my love, and I will see you guys for the next one.